Welcome to episode 20 of the Bedroom Studios official podcast. After a 2-week hiatus, Lord, I am the host as always, Mr. Michael Butts, and today joining me is none other than Pearse Sweeney.
Good day, Michael.
Good day, Pearse.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
It's good.
So, one thing I noticed, I said in the start, on the post, I was like, yeah, I just met this man like half a year ago.
True.
But it was when I heard other people talk about you, like they made it sound like the tone of their voice was like, oh, this is a staple name. I'm like, I've never heard of this guy. And then I listened to your music and I'm like, why haven't I heard of this guy?
A staple name. I don't know. I don't know how accurate that is. I think I'd be pretty shocked if I heard somebody say it about me. But
well, how I see it is if the name is not staple, or if the name is not as known, they'll say first last name, right? But they'll always if someone is known, they'll always just say the first name.
Yeah.
And I go, who's Pearse? Who's Pearse? And they go, Pearse Sweeney. I'm like, who the fuck is Pearse Sweeney?
Who is Pearse indeed?
And that's another thing we like to do on the podcast here. It's not an interview. It's completely off the cuff, just off the dome piece. And it's basically just, what is Pearse? Who is Pearse? How is Pearse? Where is Pearse?
It's not an interview. It's a clinical interview, apparently. I think you're going to be my therapist from now on, Michael.
Who is Pearse? How is Pearse?
Pearse is good. Who is Pearse? Pearse is many things, I guess. I don't know. I'm a musician, a loving boyfriend, hard worker, student. I guess those are all...
You heard that, ladies. He's taken.
terms that you could use to describe me. A brother, a son. I don't know, man. I just love music. I grew up in a musical family. My father immigrated to Canada from Ireland in the 70s. And he was an Irish musician professionally. And, a lot of his family were. And, it's in my blood, I guess. I was going to get it one way or the other.
I'm surprised, people that say that, even if they're second generation, Canadians from overseas or whatever, I'm really surprised growing up. Did the accent just die out, or does it come out when you raise your voice or something?
So funny enough, I think it comes back periodically when I'm either angry and flared up. I was born here, but obviously you hear your parents' dialect. And
you pick that up, right?
You do, yeah. But I do remember the first time I went to Ireland by myself was 2012 or 2013. And I remember my father picked me up from the airport afterward, and he was laughing his ass off. And I didn't know why. And it's apparently because I came back with a thick Northern Irish accent. And I had no idea because I was just immersed in it for the couple weeks. And I do notice my brother do it quite a bit. He'll his accent will fluctuate when he talks to our Irish family. So I would imagine probably to some capacity I do too. I don't know.
I've caught myself with that if I come back from Cape Breton or something.
Yeah.
I catch myself, but it's not as bad as I can still pronounce my THs,
Are you from Cape Breton?
No, my mother's side is.
Right.
Small town, literally a small town called Lower Lordways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good tourist attraction though, because it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes down the road from Point Michaud Beach.
Right.
Which is an incredible place. I mean, it kind of is a bit tarnished because there's jellyfish now,
right.
And it's a flip of a coin if they're alive or dead.
That's fair.
But I do enjoy Point Michaud because it is I think the beach itself is 5 miles long.
Yeah.
And it's a staple spot. It's not something the Big Fiddle in Sydney or any lake in Waikokoma, but it's still a staple spot if you where do I go in Cape Breton? But funny enough, either side of my family, you said you had a musical family. I didn't. And it was just weird. Mom was like, where the hell did you decide to pick up music? And I was like, it was a monkey see, monkey do attitude. That's what it was.
True. Well, you never know, though. It's that Cape Breton blood runs thick.
Yeah, but nobody in the family played an instrument, though. That was the thing.
Well, maybe someone...
Which is surprising.
Well, somebody far back might have.
I don't know. It's funny, though. Everybody else, like, in the Cape Breton, like, the Tree or, like, By Law or In-Laws, it's like, oh, they're all musical. It's like... No music.
Well, I also could just be like a Nova Scotian and like osmosis kind of thing, right? Where, I mean, I remember, I think I did a karaoke night at the Oasis like 8 years ago or something. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure every listener that's listening right now, they're probably nerves just went like up their spine when they heard the word Oasis. Everybody has a war story from the Oasis.
I've been in there twice, and I don't see the hype.
I used to love it.
Like the first time I went, I was doing sound for Josh Pelham and Justin was opening.
Right.
And I said, "Oh, I'm doing sound at Oasis," and my mom and dad were like, "Bro, Oasis is fucking amazing. We always went there on dates and all that stuff." I come home, or like I'm on the way home, like calling them on the way home, and I was like, I don't understand the hype. Like, I'm in there, and like, Resolute's looks nicer.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it must have gone downhill." And I was like, "Oh, it must have."
It's pretty dungeony. I used to live just across the street, and I frequented that place. There was many nights where I was like, "Oh yeah, just gonna go in for some beer and wings," and then I'm like, "Oh, the sun's coming up. That's strange." You know, when did that happen?
You said what, like 8-7 years ago? Aren't you like a year older than me?
I don't know. How old are you?
I'm turning 26 in June.
No, dude, I'm 30. I'm gonna be 31.
What's the skincare routine?
I don't know. I guess my girlfriend's got me on a good skin. She did. As soon as we started dating.
The Ordinary? Is it The Ordinary? No.
No, honestly, as soon as we started dating, she was just like, I think I was a bit of a fixer-upper. She was just like, you got potential, but like, this is all the body lotions and face creams you need, and now I'm going to be forever young. Supposedly.
As soon as I turned 14, it was like, bro looks 10 years older than he should be. That I don't know what it was. Something just flipped the switch inside. It was like, he's old now.
You were the one in the friend group with the fake ID, weren't you?
No, I never went downtown until after I graduated university.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't even touch the music scene until after I graduated.
I was gonna say that's kind of almost ironic because now you're there constantly.
Yeah.
Now you basically live there.
Nope, Jesus. Yeah, a nice 30-minute drive away. Be like, "What's up, guys?"
Fair, yeah. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the Oasis. I just remember, like, there was one night, because it's so dungeony in there, and, like, a fire alarm went off, and, like, all the lights came on, and you just seen, like, this gust of, like, it was, like, smog of, like, sweat. It was pretty rough.
That sounds ratchet.
It was rough. But anyhow, so what I was saying about it was I did a karaoke night, which actually, by the way, karaoke nights at the Oasis are probably the most fun I had in my 20s. Maybe that's not a high bar, but like, you know, I always really enjoyed my time there. And I remember one night I was like coming out, and there was these people from Toronto, and they were just so shook about like the amount of talent that we have in the East Coast. Like, they were here for a couple weeks, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like literally every single person I've met plays or sings or does both and writes," and they're just like, "I've never seen anything like this." And it's like, it's such a common occurrence here, and they found it to be very bizarre.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised at, because I would assume Toronto, you're going to get the best out of the best in the country.
I'll tell you right now. You know, our mutual Tammy. Right? She's
shout out Tammy.
Shout out Tammy. She's probably going to be on the podcast when she arrives back in August. Cough. But yeah, she says all the time, like every time she comes back, she's like, "Bro, I hate Toronto. I want to come back to Halifax." Such a culture shock when she comes back. And everybody that is from Ontario that has now decided to live out here or who has come out here, they all say the exact same line. And it's like, bro, we don't get that here. Like, and we think as, you know, independent musicians, like, we think it's fucking hard to get some shit there done, or get some shit done sometimes, right?
Sure.
Oh, it's 10 times worse in Toronto. or just in like Ontario in general, it's like 10 times worse to get something done.
Yeah. Well, I guess the level of competition there would be just astronomical.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like Nova Scotia alone, there's like 1 million people here. It's probably like near like 1.2 now or something. But oh god, what's the population? Isn't it like 5 times us for
Yeah.
Ontario?
Well, I know Toronto would be the most populated city in the country. So,
Ugh, gross.
having said that, I really love Toronto. Every time I go up there, I've everything that I've been told about Toronto has been untrue. Like I was always told, people are going to be ruder, they're going to be colder, they're going to be this. Not the case.
Really?
When I was in Toronto, they treated me like gold. Everybody was super nice.
Okay, so you stood away from Scarsborough. No, kidding.
I think I was actually in. Oh, where was I? Me and a friend, we were. He took me to this. Mind you, he's from Ontario and spent a lot of time in Toronto. But we went up there in like 2019, I think, and we ended up in Scarborough at some point. I'm pretty sure, and it was just like this long highway of nothingness. Like there was just nothing there except this big warehouse where we got to play VR and like run around with this massive warehouse in VR gear. And the only other thing that was in this concrete slab of nothingness was a swingers bar. Like right next door.
Welcome to the 6. What the?
It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen in my life.
That is. The Halifax mind cannot comprehend that.
What I really loved about it, though, was like when we were done VR, we like walked outside and there's only like 4 of us. And again, it was like literally empty. It was like a ghost town. And then all of a sudden, this bus like just like drove up to the swingers bar, and it was just a bunch of like older people getting out, and we were just like, okay, it's time to leave.
Here comes the swingers.
We're gonna. It was one of the funniest things I think I've ever seen. So
have you ever played? Like the farthest I ever been was Ottawa, and that was years ago, at least like a decade ago or something, for like a Taekwondo tournament. But have you ever actually played in Ontario?
No, I
okay.
never have. Have I played? Not now. I haven't really ever played outside in Nova Scotia. I've played in Prince Edward Island-ish, but like that was more for family-related reasons. Love to play in Toronto, though. Even Tammy was saying, like, you know, if you ever want to come up here.
Yeah, she's trying to trap me into that, too.
Um,
I told her, it's like, if I ever go, I got to practice the Toronto slang.
Like, one of my real goals, like, with the new band that I have now, the core, is, like, you know, I'm 30 now, and...
Who is in the core?
Who is in the core?
You know, for the longest time, I deadass thought, like, the core was you, Lukey, and Nick.
No.
For the longest fucking time.
So, we got Victor Bagdell on guitar, who's an amazing guitarist and just an amazing composer. Like, I don't know how I lucked out with him, but I put an ad out. I was looking for a bassist, actually, at the time. And Jackson from Hurdle was playing guitar with us at that time. And so we were looking for a bassist, and he, like, when I put the ad out, he literally, like, had learned one of my songs and, like, recorded a video to it with, like, professional software and sent it back to me, being like, yeah, dude, I'd love to join. And we're like, I was just kind of, like, flabbergasted. I was like, okay, sweet. But, you know, as time went on, Jackson got really busy with Hurdle, and so he had to go and do that, and I was playing in well, I guess it's Hurdle now. We didn't necessarily have a name back then, but as time went on, we were kind of like going through different members, and then like Victor just started playing guitar one day in front of me. I was like, dude, you're a fantastic guitarist. Like, what are you playing bass for? And he's a fantastic bassist as well. But I was like, you know, I've always been a fan of like bands with 2 guitars. I just always loved that wall of sound. So I was like, dude, you got to play guitar. And so he took that position. And then we got a young guy who just moved here from England, actually. Luke Smith. He was living in London there for the last couple of years doing school, and moved down here with his girlfriend. And, you know, I found him on Facebook as well. And we all just kind of gelled together. And then, I don't know how this happened, but I was able to get Mike Arborough, who plays in the Teventines trio. Mm-hmm. And they've been a regular staple at the Carlton for the last 5 years, and I remember seeing him last year being like, man, I wish I could play in a band like that. I'll never be able to play in a band like that. They're so good. And then, of course, fast forward, we met up, and he liked what we did, and then he started playing with us, and that's kind of been the foundation of the group ever since.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
That's such a fucking... That is a wild story for getting a band together.
Which, by the way, shout out to Tevin Tynes, too. What an amazing player.
Oh, he's fucking insane, dude.
And one of the nicest guys. But yeah, I was really inspired when I saw Tevin play.
Yeah, I saw him play, and I was like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stick to bass now. I'm not gonna touch guitar anymore.
Oh, no, man. He's fantastic. And we actually just played a show with him in Wolfville 2 weekends ago.
I saw that, yes. Who was on that as well?
Lizard Hips.
Lizard Hips, yes. The other Jack Mahoney band.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're fantastic, too. Lizard Hips, absolutely. They killed it, man.
At that point, I just called him Cole Rain 2.0 because Alec is in every fucking band.
Is he? Oh, yeah.
Alex
I love Cole Rain, too.
Alec drums for Daniel James McFadden and Matt Hughes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a big...
Yeah.
Big names.
Obviously. Yeah. And then Cole Rain and Lizard Hips.
Yeah.
And then... Oh, fuck. Who else? For a minute, back when Brandon still lived in Wolfville, he actually became the new drummer because Brandon's original drummer just, like, went MIA. Even though he was, like, one town over. He was in Kentville. He just came down, but no.
Yeah.
So we got Alec, and Alec's a fucking robot. He's a fucking robot. He just learns, and he is in the pocket no matter what.
Yeah, there's guys that are... I always find in music, there's kind of like a divide. There's the really creative types, and then there are just the machines.
Yep.
That like are just... They're just in the best way possible, and I mean this with the most respect possible, just absolute workhorses. Yep. Like, they'll take on 50 gigs... They're all 3 hours each, and it's just like they're absolute just workhorses. They just want to play, and they're really kind of like masters of their instrument, and they care about like the intricacies of each song and having it perfect.
Yeah,
you know?
Alec is that. It is terrifying. Like, and on top of that, I mean, Cole Rain, I think he's doing the most work because he's not only playing drums, he's also harmonizing.
Right.
Yeah, which. Oh,
I think those guys are going to blow up.
You ever seen Cole Rain live?
I haven't seen them live. However, their singer actually was the person that booked us at the King's Arms Commons, and I'm a big fan of what I've heard of them. I think, out of the next crop of people that are going to come out of Nova Scotia and do something that is going to be really spectacular. I think they're one of them. I think they've got like this unique 100%. Sound. They're from the Valley, and like the Valley kind of carries its own vibe, and I think they kind of encompass that really well.
I mean, there's already a big name from the Valley. Mm-hmm. The Goodbye Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys, they'll come down to Gus's on a Sunday and pack that shit out.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, the punk scene / emo scene is fucking rampant everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. But it's for people to, like, the Valley has already got their fucking name. Not trying to discredit Cole Rain and all those guys. I'm good friends with all of them.
Yeah.
But a good second place runner-up for, just coming out of the Valley would have to be Cole Rain or Lizard Hips, basically. It's either one of the guys. Because it's half the members anyways.
Well, I was saying to Lizard Hips at their show, I was like, guys, once you get stuff recorded and released, people are going to catch wind, and you're going to be a big deal. Like, they were amazing. Tight band.
No, it's insane. It's like you're so used to what you see here. You're just so saturated with, like, or you're so oversaturated with just what you see down in, like, HRM, and it's a lot of the same shit, kind of. If you go to, like, I mean, especially fucking Ramsack Central, Argyle Street, it's the same shit over and over again, right? And then you gotta, like, dig into the rabbit holes. I didn't know we had a fucking jazz and bossa nova scene until I met Skatey Fam.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And then I met her friends, and I was like, whoa, we actually have not folk and not run-of-the-mill East Coast tunes.
Yeah. Would some of that jazz stuff be born out of, like, the NSCC crowd?
No idea, because Skatey just... liked music and just listened to a bunch of R&B and jazz. Like, I call her a jazz player, and she's like, no, I'm not a jazz player.
She knows a lot of jazz chords for
Yeah.
a non-jazz player.
She knows.
Yeah, she was really incredible.
She's learning theory right now. And I was like, these chords. And she's like, yeah, I don't know what they mean. I'm like...
That's jazz.
That's jazz. But I know one of her friends, Ali Enriquez. I believe she's in NSCC. Have you ever listened to Ali Enriquez?
No.
Oh, she's got one song out right now. I was there down at the Salt Yard Social at the end of September for this thing called Emerge by the Youth Art Connection. So Skady, Ali Enriquez plus Paulina Hernandez and Jaya, I think that's what the girl's name was.
Right.
But I was just in awe listening to Ali and Paulina. Paulina's an insane jazz pianist.
Right.
Insane. If you go look up Pau on Instagram, sometimes she'll just be like, this week's transcription, and she'll just be like playing like without staring at the keyboard. I'm like, all right, time to give up keyboard now.
No. It's great to see that though. Honestly, it's been a great privilege kind of jumping back into the scene because I was in the scene a long time ago. Yeah, like the mid 2000s was kind of like when I guess I would have started. That was like high schoolish for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, wouldn't you be in your teens? Yeah.
Yeah, but like I was playing in bands all throughout high school, and we were playing around, and it was a really cool time because there was a lot of high caliber players at that time, and a lot of them would have ended up either moving to Toronto or settling down and having families.
Both lame excuses. No, kidding.
No, well,
kidding.
It's a time commitment to do what we do. And what was cool for me was like when I came back in and like it was just like all like a bunch like I didn't know anybody. I was the new kid on the block in some kind of sense of the word. And what I did notice though was how close this community has gotten and how much people try to help each other. Especially like from the more creative lens, like singer-songwriters and people that are, trying to host bands and put on shows. I do find people build each other up a lot more now than when I was first coming up, which is really nice to see because we are a small community, right? And at the end of the day, and the more that we help each other and build each other up, the more this scene can thrive. Yeah,
I mean, I was in the scene. I wasn't playing. I couldn't play at that point. But one of my a handful of my friends, and they were the reason why I started playing instruments actually, because it was just like, man, that'd be pretty bitching to play an instrument, and that was the reason. But they're in a metal band. Oh God, you might know it. They were originally called Lost Link Found, and then they changed their name to Luna Amor.
I don't think I know it.
No, all right.
No.
So they were a metal band, and they were pretty big. They got to do like a festival in New Brunswick in their teens, mind you. And then one show that I actually got to see them at was Bus Stop Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they said like they realized when setting up the set list, they're like, damn, all our songs are slam songs.
Yeah.
And then he fucking the guitarist Brendan, he didn't bring a backup guitar, and he just broke his fucking B string, like his low B string. And he's like, oh, my string's very, very fragile right now, so we're gonna play the song very carefully. And he's like, oh, string's broken, set's done.
Oh.
And I was like, boy, this is why you bring the backup guitar.
Yeah, it's funny, I learned that from an early age too. I was privileged to play with a guy named Will Hansen. He plays in the Willie Kid group now. I don't know if you know them or not, but
I know Willie Kid, yeah.
Yeah, just like he's always been a fantastic guitarist, but we grew up together and we played in bands throughout high school. I really credit him as being the person that more or less got me into being a singer because it was kind of like, he's just so insanely talented.
Are we still talking about Willie Kid or Will Hansen?
They're the same person.
Oh, that's a stage name?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought his last name was actually
he's so
K-I-D-D.
Good. Literally, he's so good at marketing himself that way. And before that, he went by Will Van Hansolo. And
Ha!
for years, people, I'm like, I play with Will Hansen, and they're like, who? I'm like, Will Hansen. They're like, who? And then I was like, Will Van Hansel. They're like, oh, that guy. And I'm like, wow. Literally everybody knows him, but his actual name. But yeah, he was the guy who really ended up getting me into singing, because it was kind of like two guitar players in a band. He's like, well, one of us got to sing. And I'm like, well, clearly you're the lead guitarist, so I'll try to give it a shot. And honestly, I think it was more just so that I could keep my position in the band. Just be like, I got to do something. And anyhow, he was like somebody who was like, you always need to bring a backup guitar, which I would never have thought to do at that time. But honestly, it served me well. I've broken many strings during shows, and just being able to kind of, throw on the new axe and just keep going.
You know what? I can't relate to that.
No?
No, well, for starters, my strings are heavies.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So, I mean, they are pretty much due for a restring. I think that white guitar right there, those strings got to be like, oh goodness, 2022?
Oh, wow.
They're 11s.
Dude, change your strings.
I might have to change my strings. I might have to change my strings.
Your strings died and came back to life and then died again.
Yeah.
That time.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to tell you the bass strings then.
Just like mold underneath or something?
No, mid-2021.
Well, bass is a little different. You can get away with.
They're all heavies.
I probably just made every bassist like so angry.
No, we actually, a few episodes ago, it was Tom Johnson and Seamus Johnson.
Right.
And Tom said on his Fender, I think it's a P bass or a J bass, he said he has not changed the strings. And they are old.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like old enough to vote.
They were here when Abe Lincoln was president, actually?
I'm going to guess. Like, I think he said something along the lines of like 27 or something like that. I got to go back and listen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, that's actually nutty. But they sound amazing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess...
I will say, though, at my open mic, one of the regulars there, like, there's sometimes, like, I always say, like, you guys can use my guitars. It doesn't matter. I'm going to warn you, they're 13-gauge strings.
Yeah.
On the acoustic. And I actually got that restrung March last year.
That's wild.
They don't break. They're heavy.
Yeah.
They don't break.
Fair.
Your fretting hand is going to take a beating, but the strings aren't.
Yeah. Well, like I use with my electric stuff, with the core stuff, I use I think I use 12 or 13s as well, but it's like the light top heavy bottoms.
Oh, so, this is like heavy all the way through.
Yeah.
None of that, like...
I thought about changing it. Like, I used to do that when I used to play in a band called Aerodyne, and I used...
Why does that name ring a bell?
I don't know.
When were you guys active?
Like 2010 to 2012 or 13.
That fucking rings a bell. What genre was it?
Yeah, prog rock, I guess, was...
That'll do it. Yeah, that probably rings a bell then.
We played the Bus Stop Theater. We might have played that same show that you were talking about.
No, that was like 2016.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we were there in like 2011, I think.
It does ring a bell, though, prog rock, because my friend Brendan, I'll say his last name. You'll probably know him. Brendan Weigel.
Name rings a bell.
Yeah, there we go. So he was the guy in Luna Amore. He was the lead guitarist.
Right.
But he was always listening to the hard shit, right? He used to have a PRS, like Opeth signature PRS.
Right.
Yeah. That was
Z.
Yeah, that was fucking baller. He got rid of it. And I was like, why would you get rid of it? Then he got a cool Ibanez 8-string. Traded that off for something, and then traded off again, and he got this nice single piece, like the neck was a part of it too, another 8-string. And then he got this nice, like, fractal blue 7-string as well. And those were, like, the two guitars at the time of the band. And I was like...
Yeah.
Should have had your fucking Opeth PRS.
Yeah, I never got into as much of... like, I've always been a traditionalist, I guess. I've Gibson... Mostly Gibson.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's funny. So many people hate on Gibson now. Like, I actually just put out a poll on
I know.
one of my stories. And
Yeah,
everybody voted Fender, and I was like,
Fender gang.
What?
I mean, I'm doing country, so I gotta.
That's fair.
I say that Yeah, my guitars are Ibanez Geos.
Well, they like, and I don't hate on Fender, but like, just growing up, man, like the dream was like, dude, you got to own like a Les Paul or an SG. Like my dream was always to own a Gibson SG. Angus Young, first time I ever watched him play, it was like a light bulb went off for me. I remember it was like they were playing in one of their videos, early YouTube days, right? Like very early YouTube days, and I remember TNT, their AC/DC song, being on like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 and just belting that to the top of my lungs. But I remember like seeing them live, or one of their live videos, and it was from like 1977, and he just started with this monstrous guitar solo, and I was like, "What is that?" Right? And so like ever since then, I was just like an SG head like all the way, and I've been playing the same Gibson SG now.
Oh, do you want to see? You want to see this goofy ass guitar I have?
Sure.
Okay, it's the one in the case.
Yeah.
But it's an Ibanez Geo. I'm going to tell you that.
Right.
Right. But don't play it. It's disgustingly out of tune. Don't expose me like that.
Okay.
I'm bringing it into folklore to actually get it restrung and intonated.
Right.
But so I'm just gonna turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what do you see?
I see a Les Paul body.
You see a PRS head, don't you?
I do see a PRS head.
Ready? It's Geo.
Ah. Yeah. I see it.
Yeah, that was the first guitar. This is the burner guitar.
Right. We've all had those.
Yeah. Now this thing is, like, I'm never gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna do some wacky mods on this guitar. By wacky mods, I mean Noah's gonna have a field day with it.
Sure.
So, what I'm gonna do, obviously, restring and intonation. I'm gonna say, hey, it's got 10s on it, and then also, I'm gonna tell him to rip the frets off. Don't fill it back in. Just rip the frets off.
You're gonna go have a fretless guitar.
I'm gonna have a fretless guitar with not filled in grooves.
Okay.
I mean, what was it? Les Claypool's signature 6-string bass. They ripped the frets out like last minute, and that delicious wood smack sound is the 6-string bass.
Funny enough, Luke Smith plays in my group. He plays a fretless bass.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who's the? I don't know. I keep forgetting the guy's name. Who's the guy in? Oh, he's in so many bands. I know he's in the one that I know him the most in is Under the Bus.
Oh,
the bass player, trombone, and the nasty fretless bass.
Hold on. He jammed with us before.
Oh, say a word. the Under the Bus though is actually insane. Like, what would you call those guys? Prog jazz?
I kind of Under the Bus, when I listened to them, I thought more psychedelic.
Psych jazz?
Yeah. I'd say it would be psych jazz.
Yeah, because they do I Shot the Sheriff. Yeah. Oh my God, Kaido doing a fucking drum solo was nasty. And there was one time, so Under the Bus actually has 4 people, but like every time I've seen like the promotional posters was 3 people, right?
Right.
And then I saw them up in Wolfville because Coleraine opened for them.
It's Dylan.
Dylan, yes. Friggin' nasty. Like, he is on point. Like, so he is a seasoned man with a fretless bass.
He's great. And listen, wonderful guy. We had a great time when we jammed with him. But it's just that he's so busy because of the fact that he's so good. And he also plays trombone, but he's in Avery Dakin's band. Yep. And, oh my gosh, Avery Dakin. What a singer.
I have yet to actually hear her. I have not been put on.
Avery's incredible. And honestly, one of the sweetest people I think I've met in the scene here so far. Oh. Very kind, very humble, but like, man, can she put on a show. Incredible.
I like when those are the rare breeds, those are the unicorns. Yeah. It's good when there's unicorns in any context, but like in the music scene, because like we're so seasoned and we have our brain set to like what we know and how it's going to happen, but it's so nice when you see these like super nice people. It's like, oh, they're so innocent. Yeah. Yeah. Another person like that, the last guy I had on here, Oliver Carter. Oh my goodness. He is such a fucking sweetheart. Mm-hmm. That's the best way to describe him. Such a goddamn sweetheart. Mm-hmm. Man has like, he's been writing for a year and he's got like 30 originals.
That's fantastic.
That is fucking insane. we dug into his past. Apparently, he was in like a hardcore duo years ago. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's got this saucy looking telly.
Yeah.
And some of his songs are when he brings out the distorted guitar. Oh my god! Sunday Sesh went fucking ballistic when he played.
I bet.
Oh yeah,
that's a cool vibe, man. The Sunday Session in general is a cool spot.
Oh yeah, it's I like it. I was put on by Cody McPhee. I was put on to I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
And then like I just go time to time, listen, play, like be one of the pre-music or the pre-show like acts and all that stuff. Right. And I would just gradually become I am Mr. Soundman. Yeah, they don't use the little PGM8 on the stage anymore. Like, it is straight up Michael and the Midas. Like, that is fun working on that Midas.
I bet.
Oh, yeah. I fucking love it.
I think, that's going... We got offered a spot... the
core?
On the Sunday sesh at some point.
Like a post-show, like, quick little 45-hour set?
Yeah, that was up for discussion, and...
fucking take her, man.
Yeah, and
you'll be in good hands. I'm on sound.
Yeah, well, exactly. That was one, and then the other was to just do one of the guest spots, and I really want to do one of the guest spots and play with the house band.
Guest spots pretty saucy. They actually did pretty well on one of my tunes.
Yeah.
It was the one that it was Boyfriend Material, and I remember it, like...
I was there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the video that was taken, what's funny is you can actually hear Justin laugh.
Oh yeah.
And it's so fucking loud. So so I said what the song was, like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing as hell to think about it now, but the song's called Boyfriend Material. And then Chad goes, and what is Boyfriend Material, Michael? Then you hear Justin, ha 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 ha. Off in the fucking distance. Ha ha ha. That's like, fuck. And I was like, sounding like the goddamn ostrich from Family Guy. Ha ha. No, but it was really great. They fucking learned it in like a day, and I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah. But it was, I'm so like, it's my song. Mm. Here's how to play it, So I quickly told them like the week prior or something. I was like, it's literally this, like, dun, 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 and I was like, the bass is not what you think it is. Because what he was playing was like, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, that's not it. He's like, what? That's what I heard. I'm like, no. Think Every Day I Have the Blues by John Mayer. And he's like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah, we kept it very simple.
That's the blues, baby.
This is like... Oh, I was so surprised that they it's good when, like, people, like, learn your songs. It's like, they're learned.
Yeah.
It feels so great because you just walk up on the stage and be like, yeah, let's go, guys. Come on, let's do it. Whip it. Like, they know Was Never the Best as well. That was a fun one to play. That's very, like, SRV kind of stuff, shit right there. And then, Was Never the Best was like, or not my bad. Boyfriend Material was very John Mayer inspired. But shout out to Sean Whalenart on the sax, biggest hype man of 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, biggest fucking hype man. Anytime I fucking sang, he'd be off and like away from the mic. Hey.
Yeah, he was great.
Oh yeah, no, the Coast needs to have their own category for biggest hype man of 2024. Fucking platinum Sean Whalenart.
Yeah, no, he was fantastic.
Biggest fucking hype man.
Like the whole show is just like such a cool concept, and like it seems like it's really becoming something here.
Yeah. From when I first started going, I mean, this is like their third year on, and it feels like everyone is just more comfy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And what's amazing is, like, Chad said he's only been playing bass for under a handful of years.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
What a nice guy, too.
Yeah, he's picked up real fucking quick, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like me, who's been playing for, oh goodness, almost 11 and a half years. Yeah. I'm like, I was only like this, like, 6 years in.
Yeah, there's just some people that, I don't know, they just have it, and I guess they have the drive too, like, and there's just some people that are just so obsessive that they need to become masters of their domain, and I've seen that happen with a lot of musicians.
Well, the thing is, like, oh god, how do I do this without sounding like a fucking wiener?
You put ketchup on it.
No, you don't put ketchup on your hot dogs. Proper hot dog etiquette: relish and mustard. Sometimes onions. Ketchup is Western bastardization.
Excuse me for living. Sorry.
It was originally a medicine in the 1800s.
What?
Yeah, tomato paste. Yeah, it was a medicine in the 1800s, and then Heinz was like, "Hey, that's pretty cool. We'll give you some money."
What would they've used? What would they've cured it with?
I don't know. It was the 1800s. Science wasn't great then.
I do kind of love that though, like, because now like the term, like the idea of a doctor is so accredited, but like back in the 1450s, they're like, my ankle hurts, so like, I don't know, eat a leaf, see what happens. Like, you know, like.
I mean, Coca-Cola was originally a medicine, and then or it wasn't even called that. I think it was called like Cola Elixir or something like that, and then the company Coca-Cola came out of nowhere and we're like, you want some money? We'll take this from you. Here's some money.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. Even early surgeries, like I study psychology, and basically back in the day,
God, early surgeries. Oh god, it's like, oh, you're feeling irritable.
Yeah.
Here, just hold your arm out slightly.
Yeah, bleed you out. One of the ones that was crazy to me was they used to drill holes in the people's head to let the spirits out.
Yep. Yeah, that one was. Oh man. And then in the 50s, we upgraded with ice pick lobotomies.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, goodness.
Real technological advancements.
Yeah. Someone's acting a little weird in the household, you know, just poke a stick up there until they stop talking. That's what it was. That's
true.
JFK's sister.
Oh, is that a thing?
Oh my goodness, you don't know about that?
No.
JFK's younger sister. She was rowdy, and that was a huge case. Go look up JFK's sister.
I'm gonna have to do a deep dive.
I'm really surprised as a psychology student they didn't fucking talk about that.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of things in the field of psychology to talk about.
I will say though, you know, in the field of chemistry, they just taught you like the nerdy stuff. Like you had to go dig somewhere else for extraneous knowledge.
Yeah.
Like the textbooks didn't even have extraneous like real world use. It was just like, this is how it works. And then you got to go look somewhere else for like the real world applications of like, where am I going to see this?
Yeah. Yeah, I find, well, even in psychology, that until you get into like the upper years of your university career, you don't really see kind of science happen in real time.
Oh, I never seen science happen. Like the labs, like you can't even count like the labs as like in the real time because those experiments been proven for 50 years. One of the professors said even a monkey can do them. So like you can't even count that as real world because it's proven. It's been proven for like half a century. So I've never really had the you can check off the hands-on experience, but it was just like I've never had like the real world applications until like I just go fucking dig on Google or something, be like, what's this do? And you just go, you're like, oh, I'm learnt.
I am learnt.
Not gonna lie, that's kind of like me with music. I did lessons for a bit, and then I realized they're a bit of a fucking money grab. So I started learning a lot on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Adam Neely, Jacob Collier, 12 Tone. Oh god, there's so many more, but I can't fucking remember. But that was for like theory stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking beat that all in my head before university, so I was like, man, if I want to get out in the real world, I gotta be a fucking nerd.
Yeah, theory was something I always struggled with.
Really?
Yeah, kind of. I've always been ear trained because, like, you know, I guess I was born out of the folk tradition, which is like what my father did, and kind of was like one of the last of the generation in the sense that you hear all these old guys talk, well, we didn't really have, you know, I couldn't afford a book and we didn't have teachers, so I just put on the record and tried to figure out what it was they were playing. I kind of had the same thing happening because, like, I think YouTube had just started, literally, like, maybe a couple months after I started to learn how to play. And, like, so there wasn't really, like, lessons. It was just, like, but you could watch, like, live videos of bands play. And so, like, I just spent countless hours just trying to, like, figure out what they were doing and pausing and going back and pausing and going back and just seeing what the shape was in their fingers. And I did also take a few lessons a couple years ago, and I found them to be really beneficial. I took some jazz lessons, and a lot of the exercises I still use to this day. I'm unfortunately at a point now where, like, at least with what I'm doing, I don't necessarily have the need for theory, although I know it's important. So I know pieces of theory, and I probably know more than I think I do, but yeah, I don't know. It's so weird because I've heard a lot of guys who are like really advanced in theory always tell me, learn theory and then forget it.
Me.
That's the thing,
yep.
right?
Yep. What was it? There was I'm gonna be a fucking nerd here for a second.
Sure.
So there's things that, how my memory works is like I've learned it in the past and then I'll forget it and then I'll look at it again and I go, oh yes, this. Like the memory just jogs and it's just like, yeah, this. So a few weeks ago I came across something that I didn't notice before. Mm-hmm. And I just put 2 and 2 together. And the 2 and 2 together was the Hungarian minor scale and the Egyptian scale are the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah?
So I was like, this can't be right. So I deliberately looked them up separately on different Google tabs. I was like, Hungarian minor scale. And I was like, okay, these are the spacing, these are the tonal spacings. And I was like, okay, Egyptian scale. And I'm like, okay, these are the tonal spacings, the exact same fucking thing. I was like, no, hold on a second. I gotta go ask Tyler Mello, who's a big fucking theory nut as well. And I was like, Tyler, is the Hungarian minor and the Egyptian scale the exact same fucking thing? Like, am I tweaking here? So he got back with me. He's like, no, I don't think you're tweaking. I think they're the same thing. Nick Murray came over to practice, and I was like, bro, I just realized these scales are the exact same thing. And he's like, yeah. So then I asked Tammy, and I go, Tammy, big music nerd question. Is the Hungarian minor and the Egyptian scale the exact same fucking thing? Like, I feel like I'm tweaking here. Hers was like the longest way of saying no. She was like, they can't be the same thing. This is a pentatonic scale, which right off the bat I knew was fucking bullshit, because you can make any scale a pentatonic scale or a hexatonic scale. So I was like, damn, that's a lot of words for a yes or no question. And like every
theory nerds, am I right?
And then every point that came across, I was like, it can't be this because of that. It can't be that because of that. She's like, damn, bro, you asked. And I was like, yeah, I wanting a yes or no, and not like this fucking dance around.
Right.
But then I just come to the realization. I was like, they're the exact same fucking scale. And it's just like, and then on top of that, Hungarian minor is also called the double harmonic minor, which is best way to describe. You know, do you at least know the harmonic minor scale, which is like the minor, but it's a nat 7?
Sure.
1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, nat 7, 8. Right?
Yeah, I if I visually see it, I would know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing C harmonic minor, C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, C. The Hungarian minor, or the double harmonic minor, is C, D, E flat, F sharp, G, A flat, B, C. So you sharp your 4, you nat your 7 in a minor scale. And I was like, if you play it, it sounds exotic as fuck. And any YouTube video, when they talk about the scale, that's how they describe it. Exotic.
I think I do know that scale, actually. I think I've used it in a couple things that I've been doing.
Shout out to my slightly untuned guitar.
Do 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 do.
Whoops. I'm tweaking here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, so now the chords based on the scale are so weird now, because you have minor, you have major flat 5, you have augmented, which is disgusting. Ugh, I'm just going to play it like this. It's just a bunch of nasty chords. And I'm like, when am I ever going to need this in real life? you ever see that? You ever like learn something like in anything? You're like, man, when the fuck am I going to use that in real life?
Oh, that's my favorite thing. In terms of like chords, and like, I mean, the reason that I use so many jazz chords in what I do is because I just love playing around with things. I'm like, this doesn't belong here, but I'm gonna find a way to make it belong. You know? I'm
not gonna lie. Yes, I like that. Being one of those fuckers that just uses major chords the whole song. I have one. I'm working on one. I can play it later, I guess. But it's an E. then there's a G. Yeah, and then A7.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, in the chorus, it's D, C, A. Walk down to E. It's all majors. And I didn't realize that till afterwards. I was like, fuck, it sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, what was another one? One was an A minor, but I have a D9 in it.
Mm.
Which is not in A minor. But I was like, fuck, it sounds great.
I love ninth chords.
Fuck. I use them all the time. What was it? Make Time was the fucking... It's just the Hendrix chord. Like... Right? It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And I just wrote the song based off that, and I was like, this is a banger. This is aggressive. I like it. So I showed Nick... I was like, here's the line. He's like, all right, I'm going to make it better. And I was like, fuck you. And all he did was just made it more, like, just played the rhythm just softer. And I was like, dude, no.
Oh.
But, no, that song did great. That song did surprisingly a nice amount of numbers. And I was like, damn, who are these radio stations picking up my songs?
It's always the stuff you least expect.
No, I kid you not. I kid you the fuck not.
Yeah. Always.
I didn't send that, like, that song specifically, I did not send that out past HRM. Yeah. So we have, 3 stations. Mm-hmm. We have CKDU, we have Q104, like the Sunday night Route 104 with Tom, and we have CIOE, right? Yeah. So I sent it to that, and that was it. I called it a day, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing things. Mm. And then I noticed... Because Apple Music actually will document radio spins for some, but not all radio stations, which is weird.
Oh, really?
It doesn't count Q104 or CIOE, but it will count CKDU.
Interesting.
I know, which is very weird. And I noticed this one day, and I was like, radio spins? What the fuck are radio spins? And I looked up, because it will tell you exactly where... the radio station was. Mm. So I'm popping up, I'm just looking at the analytics because I'm so self-conscious, you know? Like anybody.
Yeah. I try not to look at that stuff if I can help it.
So I'm staring at radio spins and I go, what? Like, who is this spot? Mm. And I will show you, let me go on, let me take off year to date, let me go lifetime. And radio spins. Okay, so Make Time has 33 radio spins. And it was... One was from CKDU. Mm. Right? 32 of them were from CJFX Annie Ganesh. And I don't know where that is. Yeah, I know where Annie Ganesh is, but I don't know where the fucking station is. It's not the Saint FX one. Oh. I know. Interesting. I was like, who is CJFX? Like, who in Annie Ganesh, like, heard my song? Who got put on? All right.
They love you in Annie and Ish,
Mikey. Apparently.
I guess.
I was like, who in Annie and Ish, like, just picked up my song? And I figured out the email. I looked it up afterwards, like, when putting out the last album. And I was like, hey, I caught wind that you guys have played my song a fair bit, and I never submitted it. So here is some more blues tunes that I am submitting. I never got a thing back from them. Right. I was like... It's in this.
It's so weird.
I know.
It's such a weird... Like, I honestly, gosh, can never for the life of me ever figure out what... Like, it's weird. I'm a psychologist by trade, or I'm gonna be. And I find it so hard to figure out what people like. Like, I mean, I know in my own case, like, you know, I put out the first tune, Lucid Dreams, and didn't really know what to expect of it.
That was another thing. I got to cut in here real quick. Yeah. Every one of your fucking songs is a different genre. Now, yeah. When people say, "Oh, I play everything," or "Oh, I listen to everything," right? No, you stand on business. You play everything.
Well, that's become a problem, though, Michael.
How is that a problem?
Well,
Pearse?
In the sense of I have discovered that people's
attention spans are short and they want one thing.
No, it's not even that people's attention spans are short, but like I think we like to categorize things, and
we call that autism. No, kidding. kidding.
Well, I meant as, you know, like as the musician, we don't see what the public necessarily sees, but the public needs a place to place you, and I'm starting to understand more of that now because they need a way to identify you, right? Like and in my case, we're starting to go a much harder route. We're kind of more so dipping into punk rock and hard rock. That's kind of the that's kind of set in stone for where we're going. But when I first started, I didn't even a lot of that stuff came out before I had a band. Mm-hmm. It was kind of really the whole recording process for me came about when I ran into my old friend, an old bandmate, AJ Bootleer. Do you know AJ?
No.
Oh, fantastic person, fantastic player, but really is into sound engineering. He's got a degree from NASCAD. And
ooh, okay. This dude fucks. All right.
Well, he knows what he's doing for sure, but he also plays in a lot of bands around the city, and plays in a lot of punk bands, plays in a lot of grungy-esque bands, plays in a band called Book Buddies. And anyway, so ran into him along the way. He's catching up. How you doing? And I was like, oh, just trying to get back into things. And he's like, dude, why don't you record anything? And I was like, well, that's a good question. And so he was like, even if you wanted to come into my place, maybe we can do something. And I kind of sat, and then I was like, yeah, I've never really released anything. So that's let's try that. And so that's kind of how that whole process started. So everything that you've heard, we did in his house.
All those 4 songs?
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, and so I did all piano. Well, I didn't do piano and chants. I had somebody sit in on that one, but I did the synthesizers on Lucid and on Miss Mystery, and then I did all the guitar and vocals and bass myself, and then AJ played drums.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was strange. So Miss Mystery was a song that I wrote years ago. That was actually in a band that we played that in a band that I was in about 11 years ago called Kid Fiction. And we just never recorded it. So I was like, I always loved it. I'll revamp it a bit, work on it, and do it. So I knew that song was going to do somewhat okay, just because it already kind of had a life before I recorded it. But Chance of Showers, I thought for sure nobody was going to listen to.
That one is the first one I actually listened to. I didn't listen to anything else until after that, and I listened to... Because the thing is, I saw you promote yourself on Facebook groups, and you were like, jazz rock, and I was like...
what the heck is that?
No, it's not what the heck is that. Do you not know my stage name?
Jazz enthusiast.
Yeah, I enthuse. It's or it's just, I will, hit a friggin' jazz chord in, any song, right? Just to be like... make sure you're listening.
See, I'm enthusiastic about the jazz.
I'm enthusiastic about it. I enthuse it. But anyways, so I was like, okay, jazz rock, okay. So then I first listened to Chance of Showers. I was like, oh, this dude is actually jazz rock. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, again, I didn't think, I really thought, nobody's going to bat an eye at something like this.
No, it was good.
But and just in the sense of, it doesn't really have a defined genre, I guess, but it's
okay. Before the guitars kick in, it sounds gypsy.
Right.
Before the distorted guitars kick in, and then when the distorted guitars kick in, that's oh, it's rock. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of I think we're gonna keep those elements in what we're doing as well, because I love Sinatra, and I love all the old crooners, and I love to croon myself as well. But yeah, it's just weird because that's the song I usually get the most compliments on, I suppose, which is just again always shocks me because I'm always like, really, you like that one? Okay. Interesting. All right. And then, but funny enough, the song I put out after that, Summer Days, I was like, it's a good summer song. It's very happy and uppity.
Now, the thing is about summer songs.
Yeah.
I am such a fucking stickler, and I get so irked when I see people go, did I just make the song of the summer? And I go, no, the fuck you didn't.
Well, it's it was just super Beach Boys and
it was Beach Boys.
Yeah, we had a horn section on it, and had kind of a punk rock ending. So I was like, oh, this is different elements, might be cool. People probably enjoy it. It flopped completely.
Did it actually?
Oh yeah.
The promo. What do you do? What?
It's funny though because some of the promos too, I must have really irked some people the wrong way. like with it. I not intentionally, but you know, because I was wearing the bright colored shirts, looking Beach Boys like, and being like, hey, you know, listen to my song, and there were just comments underneath being like, you stupid booger man, like, take this away, this is awful, and I'm like,
damn,
okay, sweet.
I think a lot of people have the same thing. They're probably just fed up with people and like, did I just make the song of the summer?
Well, yeah, and honestly, fair enough, because it was like, in a sense, I was doing what I thought needed to be done, and I wasn't being authentic, right? And people can pick up on authenticity.
Yeah. So you're saying you kind of like sold yourself a little bit, sold out a little bit for that one?
Maybe. I don't think I intentionally did. It was more just like, hey, you know, I'm trying to read about the music business and how to market yourself and how to look professional and like what are the trends that are happening now. And like that stuff matters. Like, you know,
100%.
like you really do need to be more of a social media influencer than a musician if you're going to make it as a musician.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you better
I
have
saw
those
you
skills.
rant about this a few days ago.
Well, but it's a real thing, right?
Oh,
like it's you have to really the new process of the music industry is understanding algorithms and understanding where you place an algorithm, which ties back to this idea of people being able to define you, because algorithms aren't conscious beings, right? It's just like, well, what are you? Like, do I toss you out to the punk rock crowd? Do I toss you out to the jazz crowd? Like, where am I supposed to put you? And if you
So here's the thing, though. You know how you secure the algorithm so they know where to put you?
No.
Okay. So it's very recent. What you do is, and this is kind of hard if you do want to genre swap. Genre bending is fine because they just singularly categorize you anyways. But if you want a genre swap, it's going to be a little bit of a harder thing.
Yeah.
And I've done 3 years of blues. Before that, I did 3 years of pop. So I actually was doing that. Did I make the song of the summer? But I never targeted it as that.
Yeah.
It was like, here's a bunch of instrumentals, some like saucy, vibey stuff that you can listen to with the windows down, you know, with who the fuck ever on your car, right? And there was a few, like one of my songs, like The Everything I Need. That was a generic pop tune. Let Me Say This was kind of like a more like lovey-dovey one. Summer Loving 3 had a bunch of like hard-hitting ones. That was kind of like me in my Taylor Swift era. Like everyone says like, oh, he's kind of like Taylor Swift because he just writes breakup songs. And I go, fuck off. So then I swapped over to blues because I did 3 years straight of pop. And I was like, I'm going to swap over.
Yeah.
If you know me, you know why I picked blues. If you don't know me, I'll tell you later.
Sure.
So I picked blues. And I did 3 years of that. And I'm just like, man, like, you could even tell if you listen to, like, the last album, you could tell, like, the blues was, like, starting to, like, fade away. Because it wasn't, like, there was a lot of stuff. There was influences of Big Blue Brunswick, John Mayer, a little bit of SRV, Waylon Jennings, which is country, old country. And now I'm swapping over to, like, alt country, kind of, like, taking the inspiration of Steel Saddle, New Riders of the Purple Sage, Waylon Jennings, Red Stray Clays, and I want to do the old things, you know, have tape emulators or something like that, because as you see in like all of my gadgets and doodads, I do not have a reel-to-reel.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
So circling back, what you do nowadays, because it is a thing now, you search your name up on Google and you get the AI overview.
Interesting.
I will do it right now. I'll read mine, and then I will find yours.
Oh, God.
Get ready. So I will search up mine right now.
Okay.
So just type in The Jazz Enthusiast. Simple as that.
Is that on, like, ChatGPT or something?
No, this is straight up Google.
Oh, just on Google.
Google. The Jazz Enthusiast is a musical... So this is completely swapped over now. This is completely different. Like a month ago, it was like, is a blues musician.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Now it's The Jazz Enthusiast is a musical artist with songs, albums, and singles. Their music is available on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, and then just lists off a bunch of my songs, the record labels. You know, you do that stuff. But like originally, it was like The Jazz Enthusiast is a blues musician with such songs like this, and this, and I'm like, okay, cool. So now if we search up Pearse Sweeney. Because it changes all the fucking time. It's an AI overview. So, P-A-R-S-E.
P-E-A-R-S-E.
Did I not just say that? P-E-A-R-S-E?
Oh, I thought you said P-E-A-R-S-E.
Oh, right off the bat. To fill it in, Sweeney.
Sweeney? That's me.
No AI overview.
But does Pearse Sweeney and the Core have an AI?
Oh, let's see.
That's...
So the first thing that comes up is your Music Nova Scotia account, then your Instagram account,
right,
then your actual Facebook profile,
right,
then Apple Music.
Interesting.
Then a football player with the same name as you.
Sweet. I wish I had his money.
And then
NFL player,
I just saw it somewhere. The show with Elise Aaron.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely a thing to do as well, and it's probably to manipulate the AI overview is probably get more songs out.
Yep.
So if we look back, like, and you can take a good stare at it. That's the AI overview.
For you.
Yeah. And it's very watered down from what I've last seen. Like a whole ass. Not like at the start of the month, it was literally like the jazz enthusiast is a blues musician with such songs as
That's so crazy. So like, does Google generate this themselves? Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So that's basically what it was. It was just like, okay, blues musician, cool. Yep, I'm gonna just keep promoting that and make sure. And nowadays, what's really weird is back in the day, hashtags meant something. Now hashtags don't mean a goddamn thing. You can crop dust your fucking description with like 30 hashtags at the bottom of it, but it's nowadays, like, is my reel flashy enough?
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Listen, I still don't get it. I had like on my TikTok account, I had like 3 videos go semi-viral and nothing to do with music, right? Oh. And it was the most random...
Was it the ones that was like, driving in certain areas in
Halifax? No, that was not even the one that I was thinking of.
What?
So I actually had some videos go viral in Australia, and it was the dumbest thing. It's like literally like one night I was like, oh, there's some fun filler content, and I was like, I just put out a video on TikTok being like, Australia, we have a debacle we need to settle. Are you guys just sunshine Canadians, or are us Canadians really just snowy Australians? Like, we need to figure this out. And Australia loved it for whatever reason.
Well, right off the bat, here's the one discrepancy. Not every animal is going to fucking kill us here.
Well, true. True.
And our ozone layer is pretty fine.
Yeah. Well, for now. But like, it was just like... I was like putting out content for like months and like really researching like what works and what doesn't. That was just a fly by night thing, and it just went like pop. And I was like, really?
Can you? Okay, so I don't have a TikTok because reasons, but
okay, fair.
But is it kind of like if you stare at your music analytics, it's like where the views are like looked at in the world, like this spot the most? Is it like that as well? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
So, like, you say you blew up in Australia, like, if you stayed with your analytics, it's like views are coming from Australia.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, have you ever, like, seen, like, have you ever, like, stared at the analytics and go, who the fuck is watching this? Or who the fuck is listening to this in, like, insert random ass part of the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's so, like, when I first started doing music... When I first was like just staring at the analytics like the whole time, the first thing that came to my head, I was like, who the fuck is listening to my music in South Africa?
Yeah.
Or who the fuck is listening to my music in Israel? Like, who?
Yeah. Well, isn't it like something about there's something with the Spotify algorithm where it picks you up and throws you.
Oh, this was Apple Music.
Oh, it was Apple Music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I understand certain parts of Canada.
I should.
Listen, you have an iPhone.
I know.
It comes with the iPhone.
I know. I really should. I've been really like stuck on like the Spotify,
which is weird. And I made this kind of call out a little bit. So recently I fell victim. Like I had no say in it. It kind of just happened. The whole chartmob.net playlist, which was bot streams.
Yeah.
Did you ever happen to come across that?
I think I did. Something came up a couple months ago where like one of my songs, I can't remember which one, but it had like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie that I had a bunch of streams because but for me it had a bunch of streams. But then all of a sudden, the streams dropped.
Yeah.
Like the viewership or the number of people that had streamed it had dropped. So I would probably equate it to it being bots, and maybe they cleaned it out. I'm not sure.
So the thing is, it looks nice because, on paper, if someone's staring at it, they're going to see the song has thousands of streams.
Yeah.
Right? Which sucks. Rest in peace, your organic growth.
Right.
But Spotify actually cracks down, so when you see your, like Wrapped at the end of the year, those streams are not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did make a post about this.
Right.
This was my Spotify Wrap. It's at 619 streams, which is the most I've had on Spotify, because here in the HRM, Spotify is a dying breed, yet everyone still fucking uses it. Right? And I just said, I was like, yeah, I fell victim to this. I did not buy this. I just opened my phone one day and saw that Boyfriend Material was 2,500 plus streams, and I was like, what the fuck? Holy shit. Like, why am I... What playlist just picked this up? Because everyone's known to getting playlists. And then Gary Grisdale, one of his songs, got picked up, and I was like, is it chartmob.net? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's a scam, dude. Those are bot streams. And then recently, Jamming Through the Night got hit with one of those. I was like, fuck, dude. And the thing that sucks is, if you're on DistroKid, they hit you with a warning.
Really?
Yeah, I got hit with a warning.
But you didn't upload it.
I know. I didn't buy those streams.
Yeah.
And it was on the single for Boyfriend Material. And it was like, we have detected some bizarre activity, i.e. bot streams, on one of your more recent songs. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, I didn't buy them. So they give you a spot to like speak your piece, right? And just to be like, did you do it or did you not? I literally said, I did not buy bot streams. They just showed up. Like, that was my only line of defense.
Well, you'd imagine that a company as Estetos DistroKid would be looking into that and knowing that. They'd be more trying to protect the artists that they're representing than
because Spotify's nasty on it. If you actually are like deliberately buying streams, which is, I see this all the fucking time. Boost Collective, shout out Boost Collective, clearly bought streams. Because they have made long run videos about Spotify cracking down on bot streams, and they get slightly heated about it. So it's like, just say your bot streams.
Yeah, well, do you ever get those massive accounts on Instagram? Like
all the time. Like, I just delete the message request.
Somebody who's got like 100,000 followers that's like, hey fam, and you're like, you have no reason to be speaking to me, and then it's like, oh, I got this placement on a playlist, on one of my playlists, if you want to buy it.
It's like no. No.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, I just delete the message. I just read it and I go.
Or like the fake scam record labels.
Yeah. What's that one line from that Blue Rodeo song? This ain't nothing new to me.
Oh my gosh. That's so crazy.
Yeah. No, but it's disgusting. It's like, oh my god, I was like, I feel bad for the people that do fall for this.
Well, I mean, I would imagine a lot of the people that are falling for it, like, I would assume that those scam artists probably don't really end up trying to go for people with bigger numbers. There's probably, like, they see, 300 followers. It's like, this is
fresh meat.
This is my big break, right? You know, like, that's the dream they can kind of sell you.
What would be funny, though, is if I had this computer nerd ability, if, like, I've ever seen one of those, I could just, like, spit their address back at them.
Yeah, I know.
I wish I had that ability just to scare people.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's strange because, like, there's a guy that I know who's actually, I'm bringing his name up. His name, I think he goes by Drew on Spotify, but he's actually a genuinely good human being, and I've used his service a couple times. So basically on TikTok, he does like a TikTok live. He's Canadian. I think he's from Montreal, and he's like a hip hop artist. But every Friday he basically does like 3 hours of like, you submit your material to me free of charge, and I play it.
Oh, Adam22 did that.
Yeah.
It's
the same idea, I think. A lot of those, unfortunately, trends are starting to become, again, scams, because it's like, send me your video or send me your song and I'll play it for $10, and it's like...
If there's money involved, no.
Well, funny enough, when I first started doing it, they were all free, right? because it was everybody trying to grow, and even those influencers, like basically what they got out of it was that they get followers, right, and more streams. But yeah, it quickly became one of them sham things. But Drew has been a genuine person, and I noticed, I think, like a lot of the people that he has on there, like some of them seem like they're younger, perhaps like teenagers, like MCs and stuff, and so I would imagine that those kinds of fake accounts claim to be record labels. They really go after like people like that, kids that don't know the difference.
What's at that point? Just shoot for the local radio stations. That's how I see it. Because they're established, they exist.
Absolutely.
That it also gets the foot out of the door and a foot in the door faster, and like you can actually obtain a notoriety.
Yeah.
Right. Notoriety versus some fucking follower numbers those are just numbers.
Absolutely.
Right. But like people knowing you.
Yeah.
Because they tune into these radio stations. That's where it's like. These are the real followers. Like that's like.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't got to be behind a screen. Just someone be like, "Hey, heard your shit." Like it's like you just be at the grocery store, right? And they'll be like, or even fucking the grocery store just like has your fucking song on. Like that's an accomplishment right there.
Yeah, well, that's a huge accomplishment. I do want to say though, to like we should make a note. Like if you were a young artist and you're like listening to this podcast,
submit. Put your songs through SOCAN first.
Absolutely.
Get your stuff out. Submit to all local radio stations. So like the communities or the community radios or the campus radios. I actually have a list of every station in Canada minus Quebec.
See, this is why you got to talk to Mike.
This is why you got.
This is why you have to like and subscribe.
Yes, you have to like, share, and subscribe. You have to constantly listen to the hour mark for
absolutely
for the advice. People need to write this down. And I say it all the time. Like, I mean, I'm slacking on it right now. Like, I really need to sit down, deliberately find every email address, and then mass send it all at once.
Yeah.
And I am just damn busy, and that is not a good enough excuse.
Yeah, it's an easy world to be busy in. But the other thing I wanted to say too is like if you're listening to this and you're like a young artist and you see that DM on Instagram or whatever platform is being used at this time, there's no record company that's going to look at you unless like if your followers in the hundreds, they don't want anything to do with you. Record labels now, they only want people that are already basically established independent artists. It's not like it was in the 70s where if you're really good, you get picked up. They want to see that you're already established, that you're already making money. So don't fall for those scams. They don't have your best interest.
No, record labels only come at you if you got like what, 6-figure followers?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically, like they only come at you now if you're a successful independent artist. Really?
Yeah, then you get signed.
Well, major labels anyway.
Major labels, and then you can start actually playing big fucking festivals, be openers, and eventually headliners. But yeah, it's... You gotta be known. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird now. At this point, it's just like, do we need the labels now?
Well,
because they've made enough noise on their own, you know.
Well, that's the big question, and that in my mind, I think that's probably what labels are scared of is them losing their relevancy, in a way. But I mean, I don't know everything, and labels can really get you to the next place if you are getting established and you need funding. There's no denying the fact that having a label support behind you is gonna get you to that next level.
The only thing I have a concern about labels is like, I mean, at the end of the day, everyone needs to get paid. Yeah. So it's like, depending on how friggin' shiesty the labels are, how much cuts are coming out of that contract, you know?
I've never heard a good label contract. I've never heard one where the artist is really, honestly, it seems like contracts are more of a loan.
Yeah, they are.
Really?
Yeah. Mathematically speaking, yeah, they're more of a loan.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a lot of pressure too, in the sense of, especially where in this age where trends just come and go so quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's artists blow up on TikTok and they're gone the next month. It's just like, it's hard to have longevity. I think. Now.
Yeah, because like at that, like, you know, when someone throws pass at the wall and it sticks,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, man, fucking pick a new fucking noodle. We're tired of lasagna, you know, like some shit like that.
Or the wall shuts down like TikTok.
Oh,
for
goodness. For 24 hours. I mean, that wasn't the first time. It was like 17 hours, and the second time it was 24 hours. Yeah,
I don't keep up with that as much as I should probably. But
well, the first time was 2020. No, first time was 2019 during Trump's first presidency, and the second time was well, the reason why the second time it happened was because, if I'm not mistaken, Zuckerberg was lobbying it, so people would go over to Facebook or all meta services.
Oh yeah.
So they would go on Reels and shit like that, which is shady. I mean, again, here's my concern. It's not owned by the U.S. I get it, or it's not owned by North America, right? And I get North America has spyware. Facebook is a spyware, right? Instagram, Snapchat, they're all spywares. And I just understand the concern from everyone in, like, Congress or the government. It's like, it's a spyware. And it has been confirmed, like, TikTok or, like, the ByteDance company has everyone's passwords and keystrokes, like, saved, which as soon as you hear that, it's spyware. Great. Cool. And that's the first reason why the banning happened. Like, they were back in, like, 2019. I was like, okay, they have everyone's keystrokes. The main demographic is minors. So all this data is gone to ByteDance, which is owned by CCP. Yep, banned. Like, that makes sense. But spyware is everywhere. Like, everywhere. And so it's really scary as well, just circling back, to make it big on social media, you have to basically, like, sell a portion of your fucking life.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like last year, that was, my numbers aren't high on social media.
No, neither am I.
Like, I've done better on TikTok than Instagram, but not, astronomically so. But that was a struggle in my mind too for a long time, because like a lot of those, self-help musician books is like, well, be honest, be authentic. But it's like, do I really want to be exposing,
be authentic, be yourself? What? Like, what?
Well, like,
that's what they say to get the girl, man. It's like, man, just be you, and the girls love that. It's like, what? No.
Well, it's not only that, but it's like, do I really want, like, because it's almost like putting yourself out into the void, right? It's like, it's not like stepping out on the stage. I can see your faces that way, right?
Oh, I can't even see faces on the stage. Light's too bright.
No, well, fair. But it's just like, it feels like you're losing a part of yourself. It's like there's a vulnerability to it. Yeah. And like, especially like,
the vulnerability is like, damn, am I gonna get called cringe? Like, that's probably a big one.
Well, like, or even like, just, the internet can be real bad cesspool sometimes. Like,
Oh, I know. Bro, go to Instagram. Go to any Instagram comments.
Yeah.
There are 3 things. Yeah, 3 things. They are the comments spammed with "nice try, Diddy."
Yeah.
Sexism and racism. That is all Instagram comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, actually, no. Category 4, cringe.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But again, it's just like, things can, like, I don't know, man. With the internet and especially with like viral videos, like, you don't know what's going to catch, but like, you're seeing out more and more outlandish behavior.
That term virality has completely gone out of style, right?
Is it? Yeah, well, I don't know.
The 2010s, like, well, I mean, we're fighting the same battle here in roughly same color uniforms. I like using that saying a lot. Yeah, but the term viral had a real big face value in the 2010s.
Yeah. Well, I think it meant something.
Yeah, and now it's gone to the wayside. Like, the term viral has lost face value because it's now at a point where it's any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So, like, technically, someone catches you doing, like, crashing out or something, that's gonna go viral, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. You've seen some of those podcasts, like, coming out of LA and stuff. You're like, gee. Like,
yeah.
It's literally just, like, the lowest form of, like, human interaction in the sense of like very little morality or like any sense of decency of the human experience or of each other, you know? It's just like, it's kind of upsetting to look at because like we're teaching young people, kids, that like this is the way to success, you know? And whether we like it or not, as musicians, as I'm not saying musicians are doing this, but like as public figures in general, you do influence,
Yeah,
you know, the viewer in some kind of sense.
It's just weird that like the passing fad. I mean, I hope it's a passing fad, but the trend now is to be outlandish.
Absolutely.
Be a menace to society, basically.
Yeah.
Which is not good. And this is why we now have the term brain rot. You know?
Well, true. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world, like, they need something to look up to because life's hard, man. Life's tough sometimes, and it's hard. It's hard for people that, you know, might not have a good group of people around them. So where they're going to go to try to find that is, you know, the internet.
Yeah.
So.
Shout out to unsupervised internet access.
But it's true, and it's like, you know, that's why I always love to see like stories of like just good people influencing people in a positive way.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. You know, those are the unicorns.
Well, I try to live my life by that. You know, like now I'm a little older, and you know, when I was a young man, when I was a younger man,
yeah,
I should say,
young. Yeah,
I always kind of, we always want people to look up to, and so I do my best now, at least, to try to be a good influence on young people, particularly young men, because young men could be led astray so quickly and so easily.
Well, it goes for anybody. Anyone can just, as soon as they hit the wayside, you know, their brain puts them in that rut, and then
Absolutely.
They are beyond saving.
Yeah, and like, and honestly, now more than ever, I think our younger population is more vulnerable and susceptible to this crazy stuff that's on the internet.
Yeah,
and
I see it, man, and I'm like, man, there's, like, I am Gen Z, right? I'm on the cusp of like millennial, so I guess I'm like zillennial. You know,
sure.
Because the millennial like cutoff is like 97, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm a millennial. I remember back in my day we had BlackBerry phones. We wore skinny jeans and bullet belts.
There's a few times that I see stuff like, or I catch on to like certain things, and at the end of the day, history does repeat itself, right? So nowadays, these kids. Oh God, I'm gonna sound so fucking outlandish. Like these kids got, you know, Coco Melon and Zillennials and like, or just like late stage or like end of era millennials. We had YouTube poops, you know, and MLG compilations, you know. Right, history fucking repeats itself. Like,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what YouTube poops is.
You don't?
I'm kind of glad I skipped that part.
Okay, well, the best way to describe it is like it's just any piece of pop culture at the time, and they just edit it to make them say make them say outlandish shit.
Oh.
And it's hilarious. So that's what I had growing up. Like as a early zillennial,
right.
Like we had YouTube poops, or we had, and then like growing into like the 2010s, we had the MLG compilations, which was like the big flashy shit, just like Doritos, Modern Warfare 2, like all that shit, like Major League Gaming. Like that was kind of like our brain rot.
Yeah.
And I see the comparison. It's like Gen Z, bro, this brain rot is out of hand, and it's like also Gen Z, and it just shows an MLG compilation.
Well, let's just put it this way: we need to get offline and be in person. Like I was at a show Saturday night. I think it was for these girls that I think they're called the Brownie Sisters or something, or the Brown Sisters, and it was.
Carol and Anna Brown, yeah.
Man, what a vibe!
Really
amazing.
Okay,
I was ecstatic to be there. Like I was going because Spirit of the Wildfire was playing, and Vic, the guitarist in the core, knows them and was talking about them, so I wanted to check them out. But like, I was like, man, this is what it's about. People like laughing and like communicating well, and it was just the vibe in the room was really immaculate, and it was like all young people, like probably they looked to me maybe to be about 20, 21, most of them. And I was like, this is fantastic. This is great to see. This is kind of what they don't really talk about in terms of like what's going on with Gen Z. And like, it's like, oh, everybody's on their phone, everybody has social anxiety, nobody wants to talk to each other. I'm like, I didn't see a second of that in there.
No, that's you can find that anywhere. It depends on like who's up on that stage, just being the person in charge, I guess, or something, like like at my open mic, it's not to promote my open mic or anything, but it's pretty bitchin' there.
By the way, every Friday night.
Yeah, by the way, every Friday night, Resolutes.
Was it 8 o'clock?
No, 9.
9 o'clock.
9 to midnight.
9 to midnight.
But
cheap beer.
If we keep going, you can keep going to like, because the bar closed at 2. They give like, yeah, you can keep going. I'm like, okay,
sweet.
But no, the age range is there. And when it's obviously it's an old bar that's been around for I think 100 years, over 100 years now. Yeah. But and then the open micers as well, and it's great, and it's just everybody's there, and the main goal for patrons or listeners and open micers is just it is time for good time, and I like that.
Yeah.
And it feels good, getting the little like pats on the backs from like the open micers being like, yeah, you guys, like this is a great energy every time like we come out here, and I'm like, oh shucks, thanks, dog.
No, it is cool. It is a good energy in there, but that,
thank you.
I think goes back to what we were saying earlier, that like I think there is starting to be
not a phone in sight. People just in the moment,
Yeah, but like people supporting each other, like genuinely. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of animosity in it, like, and in that sense, I feel again in the culture in Nova Scotia, kind of at large, there's really this refreshing feeling of like, man, we're building each other up here. Mm-hmm. Let's like, because it's so silly to be like, well, I don't want to play with this person because I'm threatened by them or whatever, or they're better than me. It's like, my my philosophy on it is like, yeah, if I want to play with somebody that's better than me, because the only way I'm going to get better is by playing with somebody that's better.
Yeah, there you go.
But also at the same time, what I've started to realize around Nova Scotia is like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who plays he's played with everybody, was that even the people that are really doing well here, they're still very humble and down to earth. And honestly, like when you go up and talk to them, they're just as surprised that you know who they are as you are surprised that they would have a word with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in that sense, it's really kind of made me start to realize like, man, we're all in this together, and it's a small scene, and we got to work together to make things happen. Right? And yes. It was really that kind of sentiment that like made me start to like reach out and try to make some bigger shows. Like the whole thing with like Elise, right? Like Elise is doing really well. She just won, I think it was Entertainer of the Year, Nova Scotia Music Week. And
I haven't gone to Music Week. I find it a money grab, but
well, what have you, but she's done quite well. And I remember it was like last year, I was going to see Avery actually at one of the music Nova Scotia showcases that they have at the Seahorse. And I remember just being like, so nervous that I'm like, oh, there's gonna be all these cool people here, and what if nobody likes me? And Elise was headlining, and I never knew of her before, but she just took the house down, and I was like, holy shit! Like that was insane. And then I was just like, you got to go up and like introduce yourself, and I was like, that other devil on my shoulder was just like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. You're not worthy. And then, and of course, I just bit the bullet, and then I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Really loved your set, blah, blah, blah. And then, she was like the kindest person. And was really receptive. And like the next night, I went to go see her play. I think it was at the Split Crow or something. Her and her partner, Garrett, who's also a gem of a dude. were playing there, and I was like, they're gonna think I'm so weird showing up here, and I'm like, they're not gonna want to talk to me. They're gonna think I'm strange, and and anyway, so I just went up and I was like, hey, nice to see you, and the two of them just came back and like sat with us during intermission and like hung out with us for like 40 minutes afterwards, and I was like, just talking about Cape Breton and like all this stuff, and then it just kind of snowballed from there into like making a show. And even at Music Week, she was playing one of the main stages, and then like I saw her at a concert after she was done, and she was just like, hey, like, what's up, like, let's get that show together soon. And I was just like, really? Huh? Really? And I got the venue set up, and she pulled through. And this is all kind of coming back to this idea of like, we're all just trying to make it here, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to put your best foot forward, and work well and treat others with kindness and respect, it pays off. It pays dividends.
Yeah, it does. It's always good when people have like the same goal in mind. Like, I can't stand the people who don't see that.
Yeah,
and
it's unfortunate.
It fucking leaves a sour taste in my mouth. And there's a lot, and it's known people too. It's very known people that are like that. Like, that's the reason why I wrote Anti-Social Media. I was just so fucking fed up.
Yeah.
In the not even a full 3 years of being in the music scene and seeing what I seen.
Yeah.
Bro, like, I said to my mom one time, and I was like, bro, the shit that I've seen in this music scene would drive a fucker to drink.
Yeah.
And she's like, really? And I'm like, yes, really. I'm not just putting that up for theatrics. I'm like, the shit that I have seen. Holy fuck. Yeah. Like, there's got to be shit that you've seen, like, several times that made you go, like, man, fuck that guy, or fuck this girl, like, fuck this individual, because, like, they are not doing this right. Like, have you ever had that back of mind thought?
Well, I try not to have that in the back of my mind when people aren't acting in accordance to, like, my values. Mm-hmm. I think I'm just like, well, you know what, they're just going to do what they're going to do. I'm just going to move on. Because at the end of the day, again, it comes back to drive and determination. Like, I'm driven to, like, at least, if not make this a career for myself, which it would be lovely, but just to be an artist for an artist's sake. Like, I'm driven to do that. And being wise enough now to realize that you can choose your environment and choose the people that you surround yourself with. I choose to surround myself with good people that want to lift you up. And But the counter side of that is, like, you also have to kind of, like, watch your own self in terms of, like, how you're addressing things and how you're thinking about things.
Yeah, because not everyone thinks the exact same way. Hive minds don't exist.
No, but I mean, it's about, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? As much as you need to be easy to work with too. Mm-hmm. And it's really easy in this industry to not be, because we all think we're right. But it's you got to be able to work with others, cut your losses, but also, like, realize that sometimes your ego needs to be put in check.
I want to work with everybody. That's what I want to do. I'm always reaching out. When I first started, I was reaching out to everybody.
You gotta.
And it was just like, it was always a yes, and then, like, shit fell through, and I was like, damn, that's crazy, dog. And I was like, so it just kind of just narrowed down, like, the old reliables. And I was like, these are the people that I can ask, and, like, things can actually get done. Progression can actually happen.
Well, musicians and reliability, that seems to be their kryptonite.
No, I'm not hearing that.
Well, listen, I mean, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and I've been around a lot of people, and creatives, sometimes that's a trouble. That's been a trouble for me in the past. I'm not going to lie. Like, but again, if you really want to do this, you got to kind of treat it as a business. Like, you would not show up for your job just because you weren't feeling like it that day. Right? And, like, music's the same. There's some things you might not want to do. There might be some things that you're uncomfortable to do. Again, it requires you to put yourself out there in a way that's pretty unique.
Like, I'm always putting myself out there, dude.
But
I know.
It requires the ability also to, like, accept rejection. And I think I've had trouble with that in my past.
Oh, I've had it.
In terms of this industry. But like it is going to happen. You were going to get rejected. And like you got to learn how to deal with that. And I don't think a lot of people necessarily know how to deal with it.
How I deal with it is with just this. I deal with it as a general rejection. I go, okay, cool, move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Move on.
That's
Fine.
what you got to do.
Go somewhere else, and that will, acknowledge my presence or actually want to get things working. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll always give like 2 chances if I'm feeling nice. Sometimes it's just 1 chance, and it's just like, okay, move on.
Fair. To be honest, though, like I found the people that I've worked with so far that are like really serious about what they do are usually quite easy to work with because they also have the fundamental understanding that you have to be able to work with others.
Right.
You have to be able
right. To. Like that's. I mean, it seems so basic to think about it. It's like, but it's a very easier said than done type of deal nowadays.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you see it in every industry. Like I've seen it in my job. I've seen it in education as well. Like it's a skill set. It really is a skill set. But like I think it's more potent amongst not just musicians but artists in general because like you're really putting yourself out there when you're putting your art into the world. So it hurts like to get rejected, and then you want to be able to control where your art goes, but sometimes when we put our art into the world, it's not up to us what happens to it. And that was a big learning curve for me, right? It's like I'm put it out there and see what happens. If it falls flat, then it was supposed to fall flat. If something great happens, okay, cool. Both are equally great for learning opportunities.
A big thing, probably the biggest thing would have to be my last album. You want to talk about like getting along and working well with people?
Mm-hmm.
There was 15 artists on that album.
It's a lot of people to have on an album.
I know. I was like, we got to go out with a bang. Like this is going to be the last blues album. I'm not going to write blues again like that. Right? I'm going to swap over to country. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, who are some good people? And I was like, I know Cam Hayes. I want Cam Hayes. I want the Johnsons, right? And then it's just, at that point, those were like, I started to think, who the hell else? Like, the first single that came out, I was like, okay, that's going to be me, Nick, Cody, and Justin.
Right.
Simple as that. Bitchin' song, 4 of us on it. Let's get weird, And then, when I started building the songs, it was literally just, who would sound great on this song? So I just go, hey, you busy? That's what it was.
Amazing.
And it just, I ended up, I was like, holy, there's like 15 people on here.
That's it. That's a lot of people. I don't know if I'd be able to put 15 people on an album, so good for you.
Well, what was it?
I don't even know if I know 15 people. I don't know if I know 15 people.
There was, on the first song on the album, there was like 6 already. Not including me, there was 6.
Right.
And then, it wasn't like someone on every single song. So like song 2 and 3 was just me.
Yeah.
Song 4, there was 2. Song 5 was like 1. 6, nobody. 7, there was 3 of us. Song 8, there was 1. No, there was 2. 1 had a writing credit. Song 9 had 3, but 1 was a writing credit. And song 10 was just 1, and they did all the heavy lifting. Shout out Cam Hayes for his insane guitar playing.
Nice.
Have you ever met Cam Hayes?
I don't know.
Oh, he's nasty.
I've heard the name because obviously in Nova Scotia, it's a small circle, but I don't know if I've met him. I don't think so, but
he's old head player.
Okay.
He's like in between us age-wise, but he's country blues.
Okay.
Very intricate with the fretting and the playing.
Nice.
So I've sent him like a rough-ass demo of the song. He's like, that sounds like Crossroads, which is right up my alley. Mm-hmm. Let's get something done. And he's like, so what are we doing here? And I was like, we're going to do it live off the floor. And he's like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, so we're gonna play the song through, and then I'm gonna sing later. He goes, okay. So, I think it was like a few takes. So I had like 2 mics on him. I had a room mic, and I just played to keep him in time.
Nice.
And every time I showed someone that song, like just like I was like, hey, you want to listen to the album before it comes out? And they go, yeah. I go, here's the Google Drive, and everyone said the same thing. They're like, yo, whoever's playing on fucking track 10 is unreal.
Cam Hayes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know the name. I definitely do know the name.
He's got
But
that
has he
open
played
mic on
Beerleys?
Wednesdays. No, he's got that open mic on Wednesdays at the Dahlia.
Oh, I've never been to that one. I gotta hit up somewhere.
Bro, you gotta be put on to these open mics, bro. You gotta be put the fuck on. Hit
Yeah.
up these open mics. Show them what Pearse Sweeney is about.
I don't even know them. To be honest.
Just go to the open mics and just hit him with Chance of Showers.
Yeah. It's I gotta get a new acoustic guitar. I have a little Taylor GS Mini, but it's kind of not cutting anymore. So.
Not kind of isn't like a cute little parlor guitar.
Kinda.
Okay.
Well, it's not bad for what I paid for it, but I do also have like an Ibanez archtop. That just needs to be reset up. Yeah, it's a nice little instrument. I remember like the seller. I would just obsessively check Facebook Marketplace because somebody like I was put on like a waiting list because like they had told me that somebody else was interested in it, and like weeks would go by and I just like check it every day, be like, is that person? Did they give it up? And surely enough, they were like, no. And I was like there that day. Like literally as soon as he was like, yeah, the seller or the buyer was like, didn't show up. I was just like at your doorstep. I was like, give me that guitar.
Here is, just shut up and take my money.
And now I call it Sophia, which is my girlfriend's name. It's my Sophia archtop.
Okay. Does either one of them get jealous?
No, she loved it. She was like, "Oh, he named your guitar after me." I'm like, "I sure did." So, I just haven't played it in a while.
It's like, oh, I'm hanging out with Sophia tonight, and it's just like, wait, which one? Yeah.
Both. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I guess like at the moment I'm just really into like, you know, I didn't when I was younger I never really knew how to book shows, but like if I feel like I'm starting to get into a place where I'm getting into a rhythm where I've had a few go pretty like okay. Mm-hmm. And like people like the musicians were happy with, so I'm kind of learning more about like behind the scenes of like booking and promoting, which is
I'll tell you right now, please and thank you method never goes wrong.
Sure.
So or if it's a spot where the booking manager it just so happens to be on shift a lot, and if there's something happening, go to it. Show them. Show them what you're made of.
No, that's a good point. And even there's that was the other thing we should have like addressed, like the importance of just showing up. Like even if you're not playing, like
the open mics are so goddamn crucial. Like, or just even if you're at a friend's gig, right, and they say, "Hey, you want to play while I go take a breather?" That's also crucial as well.
Yeah.
Like, because if you give it your damn best.
Yeah.
Right? And then you talk to just so happen it's like, hey, there's several things that can happen. You go up and say, hey, what's it take to play here? Or it can be like, they say, hey, can we have your contact information, for in the future? Mm-hmm. Or it's just like, hey, you sound pretty good. We book a lot of people, we have an opening. I've had it all. It's kind of it is a little terrifying because you just went up. It's not your goddamn show. You sit back down. Like, you didn't even fucking drink your water yet. Like, I was at Lot 6. Gary Grisdale was playing, and he brought me on to take a breather. I sit down, and before I even got a drink of my water, the waitress was like, can we have your contact information? I was like, okay, give me a pen, I guess.
Sweet. That's the way to do it.
Lion's Head. Ryan had to cut his show early because his work had a dinner party on the top floor and he had to go play, so I had to cover that last 90 minutes.
Right.
And I think 2 or 3 songs in, one of the staff, she was like, can we have your contact information? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm not that good. But what came out was like, okay. Okay.
Yeah, saying yes. The power of saying yes too. Yeah, that's where self-sabotage is a big thing in this industry too, right? Like, I'm not good enough, so therefore I shouldn't. It's like,
No, I will never say that. I'm always like, okay, yeah, sure, you got a pen? No, like, simple as that. But in the back of my head, I'm like, ain't no way I'm that fucking good.
well, I mean, I used to say no to a lot of things because I wasn't sure if I'd be.
Now that's a defeatist attitude. That's.
Well, listen. If we're being honest, right? Like, and that used to come across my head. Doesn't anymore.
Because if someone is reaching out to you, is you reaching out to them. It means one thing. You already proved the point that you're good.
Mm.
That's how I see it. That, you gotta have the charisma and you gotta have the confidence. So if they're reaching out to you,
yeah,
and all you did was just like play like a not so serious song or something like that, right? It's just like, oh damn, they liked it. Like I did that at Lot 6. One of the songs I did was Anniversary by Ronnie Lane. Mm. And if you listen to those lyrics, like the second verse is gonna make you laugh.
Yeah.
Right? The song is basically like a city boy anthem, if you know what the term city boy
means.
Yeah, city boy? Yeah, it's basically a city boy anthem from like the 70s, country tune. And I played that, and I said, well, when I grabbed Gary's guitar, Gary was like, don't go crazy. So right off the bat, I was like, okay, no Sam Smith or Michael Jackson. I'm just going to do country. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. And I said, oh, Gary, you're going to fucking love this song. And he goes, why? And I'm like, just listen to the lyrics. And I said, so when the second verse comes up, I'm like, oh, Gary, here, listen to this. And he goes, okay. So I look at him right in the eyes as I'm singing, and he starts fucking losing it. So the second verse is, I'm gonna miss you while I'm meeting. I'm gonna love you while I'm cheating. Yeah. I was like, when I first heard that, I was like, holy shit. That's the city boy anthem right there.
My god.
Yeah. Shout out Ronnie Lane being a fucking city boy in the 70s.
Wow.
But I looked at Gary right in the eyes as soon as I was singing it, and he's losing it, laughing. Yeah. And it's how it's sung too, which makes it funny.
Fair.
It's how it's sung. It sounds so peaceful, right? And so like upbeat, and it's just like, whoa, what did he just say? Go back.
I feel like it's the 70s too, so there's always that, I love you when I'm cheating.
Basically that. So the verse is like, I'm gonna miss you while I'm eating. I'm gonna love you while I'm cheating. It's like, whoa. Just with like a very like upbeat like strumming of a D major chord. Just.
Well,
it's fucking hilarious.
I mean, one of our opening numbers is I believe in a thing called love, so.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Oh, you know what song I need to like just throw in the set as a joke? Sexy Thing.
I believe in miracles.
Way from you sexy thing. Like, just to throw it in as a joke. It's just some of those songs that are like staple classics, but it's like, God, they're goofy.
Yeah.
That's why I throw Anniversary in the set list now. Just to be like, all right, guys, we're going to play a Ronnie Lane tune. For the people that know. The people that don't, they're about to be put on. And I love it.
Yeah,
Another good song for you to listen to that, like, when you hear the lyrics, you're going to be like, oh my fucking God. 7 Days by Little Junior Parker. It's an old Motown tune.
7 Days.
Yeah.
Okay.
By Little Junior Parker. It is like, the lyrics are crazy. You listen to it and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't fly today.
I mean, it's still a city boy anthem. Yeah, city boy.
Okay, gotcha.
It's still a city boy anthem. Back in the days, those people got wilder times.
There were a few wild songs.
I'll put it on as soon as like the recording's done. You'll listen to it and you'll be like,
uh-oh.
No, you'll be perplexed.
Perplexed. I like that. So let me ask you this: what's your goal for the next year musically? What are you trying to accomplish?
Basically, achieve. Let's see if you understand this. You understand this reference. Basically, achieve an episode 5. That's basically it.
And episode 5.
Mm-hmm. Pull like in episode 5, you know. You not get it?
No.
Okay. It's a Star Wars reference.
Star Wars reference?
So, when Star Wars A New Hope came out...
Oh! I was thinking TV show.
No. When Star Wars A New Hope first came out in 1977, it did numbers.
Yeah.
It became a cult classic, like,
now I feel
right away.
because I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
So, they were all thinking, like, how are we going to top that? And then episode 5 came out.
Right.
Empire Strikes Back. It was fucking crazy.
Which is probably my favorite movie of the whole Star Wars genre.
I like episode 3.
That's pretty.
It had potential. Great actors, just very poor writing.
Did you ever see the outtakes from episode 3?
Yep.
Like when he was like burning alive, and then he gets up and he's like, "Oh, I hate you."
Yep. Yep. Some of the deleted scenes like actually broke continuity too. You ever watched the deleted scenes?
Some of them.
Bro, Shaak Ti died like 2 different ways in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
She died on Grievous's ship, and then she died again when Anakin turned to the dark side.
Oopsies.
Oopsies. And then she died a different way in the Lego Star Wars game. It was still by Anakin, but it was way more gruesome with Lego.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
So you're trying to pull an episode 5. So you're trying to basically
Just
make things more.
Always top it off. Always
Right.
top it, make it better than the last year.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, last year I said to myself, I am not going to play that many gigs that I did the year prior. I was just like, I'm going to take it easy. Right? And I kind of did.
Yeah.
Like, 2023 was 31 gigs alone. 2024 was 25. So I was like, kind of. The New Year's resolution kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Tammy roasted me for that. She was like, what was your New Year's resolution? Oh, yeah, to not play as much gigs as the year before. She's like, that's a cringe-ass resolution. And I was like, fuck you, Tammy.
Well, she seems to be playing quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the whole month prior, before she came here in August, she was in the full Monty. The whole month of July.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just showed me her tour dates before my tour dates. And I'm like, God damn. Like, I honestly thought she was going to come right before August started. I was like, oh, yeah, fucking get your ticket July 27th, right? You can get fucking wild before the tour starts. She just was like, yeah, I'm coming the 6th. I'm like, oh, I got to play that first weekend by myself. Damn it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I posted, like, in 2023, I posted, the 31 gigs. And I was like, this was crazy. Definitely don't want to do that again. Everyone was like, oh, we completely understand. You did a lot. You put in the work. You did your 10,000 hours and all that shit, right? People were just like, yeah, you take the break or whatever. Yeah, we respect it. You did a lot. And then, so I posted this again. I posted the 2024 analytics. And, but I also included everything. So behind the scenes work, any hired gun things or any like random like kitchen parties or shit like that. And it was 3 times the amount, because I didn't count that for 2023.
Yeah.
And then at the end I was like, okay, so 2024 is over.
Right.
Now it's time to be on my fuck shit. And I even stated in my post, I'm like, you're gonna get sick of seeing my face.
Right.
So we're gonna play. We're gonna play a lot.
Fair.
So February and March are already spoken for. April's a little spoken for right now.
So, like, what's your playing schedule look like? Is it Saturday, or Friday, Saturdays, or do you...
My weekends are taken.
Sure.
The weekdays are fine, but the weekends are taken. So Friday is always Resolutes. I'm weekly there now.
Yeah.
Sundays is in the morning, church, which is behind the scenes, or if they want me in front of the scenes playing an instrument, sure. But the majority of it is behind the scenes, either sound or videography.
What church is that?
Just the one over there on Sackville Drive, Knox United.
Oh, okay.
And then at night, the sound for Sunday sesh.
Right.
So that's the Friday and Sunday spoken for.
Yeah.
Then the Saturday is any gig. So right off the bat, I have the 1st and the 22nd. So the 1st is, well, in 2 days. Is a solo gig. And then I couldn't find anything for the 15th. The 8th, I'm doing some personal thing. And the 22nd is a sound gig. March, every Saturday except the 22nd. Oh yeah, I gotta break that news to you. That show that I mentioned, that fell through.
Oh, the berries one.
No Rad Stormer Gus's. Yeah, sad. Sorry.
Oh, it's
but
what happens.
It is what it is. You know. No, I'll tell you about that. It was just like oh yeah, by the way, it fell through, and it's like what, like that type of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the only day I don't have anything in March, the 22nd.
Right.
And then April, I have 2 things in April right now.
Mm.
And probably going to get more. At this point, it's like as soon as like the month turns, it's just like,
yeah,
here it is. Here's the whole month right now.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
And then as soon as March hits, here's the whole month. April, yeah, yada yada yada. I'm definitely going to, and I learned this from Tyler Cox. No one cares about photos. People want videos. So the last Loose Cannon gig that I had back in June of 2024, I made a video with Justin. I asked for Justin to open, and Tyler was like, yeah, sure. And so what we did, I don't know if you came across that video, it was fucking hilarious. I'm walking down these stairs, and I go, do I fucking hear somebody in my room? What? So I swing the curtain open, and I go, Justin, what the hell are you doing here? And it just pans over to him. He's like, what do you mean? I'm practicing for Saturday's show. And I go, you know what? I should do that too. And then background music of one of my songs. And then this, okay. The thing is, when the idea hits, there's no stopping it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you have that idea, like, it's going to happen. And it's going to go perfectly. Mm. So what happened was we took two different shots of Justin and I. We had shots of us playing at the Canon open mic, right? And then we also had audio recording of Tyler Cox being like, you know, make some noise for this person, right? And he picked up the audience. Same thing with Justin. And then it was like a flash of photos that like we had like a shitload of photos as well to like just flash up on the screen just to show who it was. And then it was like live at the Loose Cannon. And then I do that fucking like villain chair spin, and I'm literally like right here facing the camera being like, hey guys, come to my show. It's gonna be my birthday. It's cool. It's bitchin'. Like that's basically what the video was.
Right.
A lot of people are like, this is actually fucking gold. And it's just like being, you know, having that sense of comedy as well, which will grab people's attention.
Sure.
It's like, you gotta think, it's like, man, is this idea gonna fucking work?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it should work. Let's have fun here. Yeah. Just send it. Yeah, that's like when I saw the driving in different parts of Halifax, I was like, this is actually fucking funny.
Oh yeah.
This is fucking funny.
That was like one of those weird fly by night things. Like I didn't really put a lot of thought into that. It was kind of like, oh yeah, because everybody feels the frustration of driving around this city.
Shout out Quinpool.
Yeah, but then again, it was picked up. I think the reason that it ended up going viral wasn't so much because of me, but one of the media companies, Northly Halifax, picked it up.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what made that happen, I think.
Did they see it and were like, yo, this shit funny, dog?
I guess, because like I didn't really even know it happened until, like, because they didn't tell me they were going to post it, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I'm like, great. Like, you know.
Mark the calendar, we've gone viral.
Kind of. And, like, and it was like, but I guess they must have posted it at a few different places, because, like, I'm still hearing people being like, dude, I just saw you on my Facebook Reels. I'm like, oh, it's on Facebook now? And, okay, cool. All right. Sweet. Yeah, that was, I tried to do a follow-up video to that, but it didn't take in the same way for whatever reason, but I guess that's just, again, when lightning strikes, you know, that's just how it goes.
It's only rare if it strikes in the same place twice.
Well, that's just it, but yeah, that was a fun one to do.
That was fucking hilarious. I saw that, I was like, because I think that's the exact same way.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, you know, there's a lot of relatable content that it's like you roll your eyes for, but it's like this shit right here, as a person who drives a lot.
Yeah.
I think the exact same way.
Well, it's specific to, like, you're speaking to people's experiences, right?
Yeah.
And that's what probably leads to viewership, I would assume, right?
Facebook moms be eating that up.
It's true. It's funny. I actually work. I work at a nursing home right now, doing like music therapy part time.
Ooh.
Kind of like I'm not a music therapist, but I'm like a music therapy student, rec therapy student, and like I've been working there for a long time. And it's like a big organization with like multiple levels, and all the nurses like when I came out there, it's like, Pearse, come here! I got you on my phone. Look, that's you. And I'm just like, it was pretty funny. Yeah, they're a great crew anyway that I work with, but I did find that quite hilarious. Like, yeah, just showing up on Facebook. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
No, that's fucking funny. Oh my goodness. What time is it now? Oh my goodness.
Must be getting to that time.
Oh my goodness. It's time to put my glasses back on because vision is blurry.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a good chat with you though. By the way,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
We're kind of on the same wavelength. You know, we're kind of just fighting for our own here. You know, roughly fighting the same battle here.
Yeah.
And making as much noise as we can.
Right.
And it's good to see like people, you know, have the same drive or the same destination that they want to reach. You know, you know, ape together strong, basically.
Right. Right.
At the end of the day, it's like, you know, some people may want to do this for a living. Some people may want to do this for fun.
Yeah.
But it's like if you take the right approach, you know, and you know you follow the steps, and what you got working for you works. And, you some noise is made, and you know, people can notice you at the grocery store or something. It's like, you know, your shelf life is good. I guess, you know, there's no sign of expiry anytime soon.
Yeah. I guess I think I've been noticed from a few of those driving videos actually, which I'm just kind of like, I've seen people kind of like look at me and I'm just like, do you know who I am? Or you guys just it's like, stop staring at me.
It's like, is this the guy? No, wait, no, he doesn't have the Prince Charming haircut.
But yeah, that was definitely more. It's more like, why are you staring at me? This is making me feel weird.
Oh, I've had that before. I'm like, yo, I've had that. I was like, yo, stop fucking staring at me, dog. And there'd be times I'm like, are they staring at me? So I would do the.
Yeah.
Or I would go.
The person behind. Oh, that would make them feel real uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's just like you're in my general. You're staring in the general direction, and that's like. As soon as you do that, that's the one you're just like.
You ever have somebody be like, yes, I'm staring at you, jazz enthusiast.
No. No, I haven't had that.
Oh.
I've had people actually say certain people actually would say the nickname.
Oh, yeah.
To the stage name.
Right.
Which is Jazz Daddy. And I've had that, and I go, yeah.
I would love to see somebody just call that out down the street.
Okay, one of my friends from New Brunswick, that's what he refers to me as. Right? He doesn't say the jazz enthusiast. He'd be like, new music from Jazz Daddy. Right? When Tammy and I played the last tour show up in Truro at Belly Up Bar and Grill, there was one person in the audience that I knew of. And at the end of like everything, you could like from where we were, it wasn't that loud, but he was in the audience. They're like, we love you, MB Jazz Daddy. I was like, Jazz Daddy. Oh, it was wild, because at the same time, it's just like, you know, my 25, almost 26-year-old mind, that fucking phrase, or that fucking word is just completely been put through the gutter. So it's just hearing it, it's just like what?
Well, it's funny, because I, like, knew your name, I knew you as that, like...
MB Jazz Daddy?
Because, I don't know if you remember when we met, you're like, Mike Pearse, it's me, Mike Butts. But because I've seen Jazz Daddy so many places, that's how I knew you.
My vision was so poor because I didn't have my glasses on at the Big X, so I didn't know what you looked like, and your profile picture for Pearse Sweeney the Core doesn't look like you right now.
I was a couple pounds lighter back then. I'm gonna talk about it.
You didn't have a stash back then.
That's true. Probably couldn't grow one either.
No. And so I was like, I don't know what this guy actually fucking looks like. And then I started watching the videos, and I was like, oh, that's what he looks like. Okay.
Yeah, the tall, lanky guy in the really bad cowboy hat that he bought at Simon's. That was.
I was debating on getting a cowboy hat from Simons, but they're like $150.
Yeah, well, me and Justin had a conversation about, matching fits or like looking like we're in a country band.
Bro, my first fucking cowboy hat was like a $10 hat from Canadian Tire. And then I had the genius idea. I went into Simons. I got a bandana and a woman's belt, and I made my own hat band.
Nice.
Yeah, so that hat went from $10 to $100 in value because the hat band, like the fucking belt and the bandana was like $90. Yeah, and then I decided...
Look at you upgrading things 300%.
Yeah, and now just the good old Stetson from Nashville.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now you got that down in Nashville?
Yep.
Nice.
We were on Broadway, and I was like, where are the fucking hat stores at? Because we were on Broadway every day, and I was like, where are the fucking hat stores? And I was in there for like a half hour trying to figure out a hat that I wanted. And I was like, is that one 30% off, right? And they go, yeah, that's 30% off. I'm like,
mine.
This one fits. I'll buy it. That's literally what the whole process was. It was a half hour in the store just finding a good ass hat.
And you probably got to the register and you're like, what do you mean you're on 15% tax? What are you talking about?
9.25 actually down there.
What?
9.25.
Still.
Yeah, the hat came to like $122. So I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Like, what would that run you here? That would probably be like...
Oh, God. It'd have to be like near 180 or something, or 170.
Yeah.
Have to be. Disgusting. And then I also got something else. I got something music related down in Nashville.
What was that?
Here.
Oh, he's getting some. What's that? This is the tiniest pedal board I've ever seen in my life.
It's originally by Donner, but Third Man Records picked it up and did a collab.
What?
The Triple Threat. Yeah, I went to Jack White's record store.
That'd do it.
Yeah, it was the cheapest pedal too. I played on his signature guitar with his signature pedals on his signature amp, and I was like, "This is great." And I was like, "What's the cheapest pedal? Triple Threat? Cool. I'm gonna buy it."
Take this. Yeah, absolutely.
I actually have used the phaser on a few of the country recordings right now, and the echo.
Right.
Friggin' juicy. The distortion is insane. Puts the Boss DS1 to shame.
Right. You know what's funny? I often never use like overdrives. Like
really?
I've used. No, I shouldn't say that. That's kind of a lie. I guess like I've started to use them, but I've always been like I'll never buy like a Tweed or clean amp and use pedals. Like I always need something with 2 channels. So like I have a Trainer YC90 right now, and and so that's kind of what I use to really get my gain. It took me a long time to like figure out that amp, just because there's so much high end in it. Like you really have to work the sound to get something good. I've heard a lot of people say that about the YC90 anyway, but
I only have 2 good amps out of those amps on the wall of amps. So the big Yamaha bass amp is probably for the best for my bass.
Right.
That amp egg there, I don't know how to fix it. It's just constantly
hissing.
Sounds nice, but it's just constantly hissing. I can't mic that. I cannot mic that. It's disgusting. And then my best guitar
That might be the power source, though.
I don't know. It's been like that since I bought it. It was brand new.
Like, you tried it in multiple outlets?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the best guitar amp I have is actually that one.
Which one?
The orange Micro Dark. The cabin speaker.
I love orange.
Oh, the head. Look at the head. No, look a little more to the left.
To the left, right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're staring at that little thing. That one tube.
Yeah.
Is fucking loud.
I believe it. Orange is like that's really. If I had a touring rig, I'd have orange.
Yeah, gear. I would like to have a bigger orange rig, but they're insanely expensive.
Well, that's because
you're paying for name at that point.
Yeah, it's like funny. Orange was huge back in the early to mid 2000s with like the emo bands, emo and punk bands, and like that's kind of like how I grew up. I grew up with that scene, and I loved orange stuff. I always did.
The thing is, what it's kind of like, damn, I'll never get to experience this unless I like am like a vintage collector.
Yeah.
I will never be able to get an original orange.
Yeah.
Before Gibson bought them over.
Well, I don't know what's up with Gibson right now, but they're not making wise financial choices. It seems. I don't know. Like, a lot of the stuff that they're putting out, like, they say it's better. They're trying to up their Epiphones and stuff, but it's like, nobody.
You know how you up the guitars? Take 5 pounds off them. They're so goddamn heavy.
Well, also the pricing is ridiculous.
Oh, I mean, Fender is like that too.
Really? I always find Fender
guitars.
Reasonable. Well, like,
oh my goodness!
You get a decent Mexican Strat for like $1,200.
Like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, expensive, dude.
$1,200? You think that's expensive for guitars? No, man. That's like middle of the road.
Dude, you want to know my most expensive guitar?
What?
$525.
Yeah, literally. That's the D-Gent guitar.
That is the John's guitar. That is the fall guitar.
That's crazy. Oh, that's fair.
I see prices on guitars like with a comma on them. I'm like, no, not touching that. Not touching that.
Oh, dude, you got it eventually.
I mean, there is like this ice white Player 2 Telecaster that I'd love to get my hands on. It's $1,100. Definitely wouldn't buy it outright, but the ice white telly would look so good. It would go so fucking hard for country.
Yeah.
So fucking hard for live performance.
I had a Telecaster once, and I sold it.
Don't you still have it? No, you have a Strat.
I have a Strat right now, but I had a Telecaster, and it was beautiful, and I sold it, and it was like, I nearly throw up in my mouth every time I think about the fact that I sold it.
You sold it for that Gibson?
No, I've had the Gibson since I was like 16, I think, was when I traded in. I had like an Epiphone Prophecy, and then I traded it in. Then I got my first part-time job, or just paid for it through that. And it was already secondhand, kind of beaten up when I got it anyway. But that was like 2011, and so, the cost wasn't that bad back then. I kind of regret selling this. So, my parents got this for me from a pawn shop. It was an Epiphone Embassy, which is this heavy ass 5-string bass, but it sounded great. Yeah.
And I sold it. I put it on Facebook Marketplace for the price that they got it for, and TJ actually grabbed it. Now TJ doesn't have it anymore, so I have no idea where it went.
Right.
But the Epiphone Embassy, it was so good. And I regret getting rid of it. If I still had it, because Tammy's like a 5-string bass player.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So when she was on tour with me, all I have is my precious little Toby 4-string. There is a Toby 5-string model, but I just grabbed the 4.
Right.
But if I still, if I had the Epiphone Embassy, I'd give her that friggin' thing for a fucking workout. It was so heavy.
Yeah.
It was like, it was an unnecessary, like an additional unnecessary 10 pounds. Like, it had water weight on it. Like,
right.
So, like, being the friggin' little thing she is, I'm like, here, have fun. Do a little bicep workout with it.
That's funny.
Oh, I am just an absolute stinker. I take the piss out of everything.
You got to. You got to.
If you can't laugh, you're miserable. That's what that's the motto in life.
Yeah.
It's like, just learn to laugh.
You got to laugh. You got to enjoy life.
At everything, bro. If you're not enjoying life, bro, just fucking stay home. Don't be a square.
I stay home a lot now.
Square! No, kidding.
Yeah.
You need to come out to the open mics to be less of a square, dude. No.
Well, yeah. I know.
Too busy studying algorithms.
Busy. Well, honestly, man, busy trying to book shows. That's the truth.
That's another thing as well, yeah. I mean, do you want assistance?
I mean, in what area?
HRM?
I mean, maybe, yeah.
Out of HRM? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, we're doing, like, original music stuff. So, like, Radstorm and Seahorse What's the other place?
Gus's.
Gottingen Street. Gus's. I got a pretty good working relationship with them now.
What's the spot on Gottingen? I think Bus Stop Theater's the only one on Gottingen, isn't it?
Now there's Propeller. Propeller Arcade.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another spot.
They have live music?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Oh, dude. Well, yes and no. So it's like one of those things that you have to bulk it out, like to make an event of. It's not like they have live music on Friday, Saturday nights. They have different things going on there, but it's just a really cool, like, it's kind of like retro 80s, 90s vibe to it. Have you been down there? Dude, it's huge. It's massive.
You know what I would like to do? I would like to follow in the footsteps of Bill Travis.
Bill?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love Bill.
Bill's great. And what's funny is, like, I will always follow in the footsteps of, like, ideas.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's times I'd be like,
Oh,
I never thought of that.
Yeah, he's
like,
got some creative ideas.
He's got ideas, and then it's like, he'll see someone else's ideas, and he's like, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Like, on my open mics, what I always say for my open mics is, like, bring any promo or any fucking swag that you have, right? Right? And
yeah.
I'll talk into the mic as well, and I'll promote your shows as well.
Right.
But I have big fucking QR codes for my latest album.
Right.
Let's just put them around the bar.
Smart.
And Bill grabbed it. He's like, I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
I was like...
It's a smart way to do business.
I mean, this man comes out with his fucking albums. Like, he'll come out with his albums and his fucking merch.
Yeah.
And he just, like, slaps it all on the table. And I'm like, this right here.
Yep. He's got it figured out. He's got it down to a science.
Bro has so many album release shows, too.
Yeah.
He has so many.
Yeah.
He had one on his birthday at the Nest.
Yeah.
Were you there at the Nest?
No, I was at the one...
Good Robot?
Good Robot.
Yeah, that's a spot that I want to fucking try.
Yeah, I haven't tried there either.
I don't even want in the Mousetrap room upstairs. I would want to do the AstroTurf outside.
Yeah.
Because you just walk around more.
Yeah, and also just like more street or foot traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one spot, I was in Nashville when he did this show, so I couldn't go see it, but I was like telling everyone to go to it. He did at Staggers, and then as well, that Stagger show was in conjunction with Renegade Records, which is right next door to Staggers.
Yeah.
And, put some of his albums into the store, so through Severance, I guess. And then he did an in-store show at Renegade Records. Man did 4 album release shows.
He's got ambition. Like, he really is.
Yeah.
He's a very ambitious guy.
Bro's got it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, we do this thing at actually our university. Well,
because you're both at SMU, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I see Bill quite often, actually. And he does this thing called Toonie Tuesdays. So the last Tuesday of every month, he has basically a mental health jam session for all the students.
Oh, shit.
He brings in a bunch of guitars and instruments. And
say less.
so we've been doing that probably since last year, I think. Yeah.
So what is everyone just drops a toonie in and goes to work?
No, you don't have to drop in anything. Like, all the students we have a student union building, and we literally just set up on these couches, and there's a bunch of instruments, bongos, guitars, and for the whole lunch hour, 12 to 1, just play music. You're free to come in as you please.
Oh, shit. Oh, during, like, the afternoon?
Yeah.
Oh, this was at night or something?
No, it's during the afternoon. So,
oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, it's all his, that was his brainchild. Is like...
That is my mother. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hello.
You should turn your car off.
Okay.
I'll get back.
Bye-bye. All right.
Moms being moms.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
She goes, you should turn your car off now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
That's fair, yeah.
Probably have to go fill that with gas.
Yeah.
I want to wait till tomorrow because gas goes down 2.2, but...
It's tough business.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't mind taking some... If you know some contacts and stuff like that to reach out to.
So, well, I mean, is the main goal you just want to play ticketed events, or?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean... yeah, I guess. I mean, the basic spots are Radstrom, Gus's, Beerley's, but we already know about that. which is tough.
Yeah. Well.
But I'm trying to think other ticketed events in Halifax.
Well, there's we did the
The Carlton.
Yeah, the Carlton's
That's a hard one.
a hard one to get into. But yeah, I'm really trying to see about maybe booking the Seahorse this summer for a show.
Seahorse would be fun.
Yeah, and yeah, we're kind of at a place right now where we're just trying to build up our brand and our name and play as many shows as we can, but play with people in the city that.
Does Music Nova Scotia still do those first Thursdays of the month?
As far as I know. Yeah.
Weird, I haven't seen anything about it.
Funny enough, either have I, now that you mention it. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope it didn't flop, because when I went to the one with Coleraine and all them, it did pretty well.
Yeah, it seemed to do well, the one that I was at too. That was another thing that we were thinking about this year to do.
Do a first Thursday a month, yeah. I need to accumulate a band to do one of those.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm looking to do more of. I do a lot of, at work I play quite a bit, doing the music therapy thing. So I, do that 5 days a week in the summer, and so I'm more I'm just really trying to get back into the band thing. I love playing in bands. I don't really like being a solo act. And that's the hill I'm willing to die on, because I'd rather put on fun, cool rock shows that have 4 original bands and that we work really hard to make, which is the most fun for me anyway. I loved working on this Elise show. It was really, really, really fun. To try to.
Yeah, how did you get some woman from the high end of Cape Breton to come down to Waverley?
It was well, like I said with the start of the podcast, there it was it was just conversation after conversation. We'd see each other and be like, hey, and then bring up the idea of doing a show, and she was just really gung ho for it, and so was her partner, and of course we have the mutual friend Willie the Kid, who's also on the show. So we were kind of 3 of us doing a show together would be an incredibly fun time. So that's kind of when I was okay, well, if you let's do a show together if you're down for it. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So I was I'll book it, and we'll go from there. And I don't think I had to go to many places, but Monty's came up because I know Monty's sound system is supposedly very, very good.
Best sound in HRM.
Yeah, so that was one of the things I thought about, and Elise is doing quite well for herself, and playing with her creates a buzz, any show she does, and so it was kind of I think a unique challenge for all of us. It's hey, let's see how far we can take this show. Let's see what we can make happen here, and so Monty's was receptive to us, and yeah, it really kind of came about that. So yeah, March 7th is the show date.
Sadly, I have my open mic that night.
Yeah, I know, it's on a Friday, but it's 8 to 12, $15 in advance, $20 at the door. So you can buy your tickets right now on Monty's Eventbrite page. Yep. You can also go to the link in Elise's bio on Instagram. Yeah.
Just the good old fuckboy face.
Well, and yeah, I think it's going to be an incredibly fun night. We're all 3 groups are really passionate about rock and roll.
Yeah, Monty's was, oh my goodness, I did a Monty show back in 2023. That was fucking terrifying, right? Gus's Pub, they'll allow anybody in, right? Doesn't matter if you make a draw or not, or money or not. But those are one of the big boy places where it's if you don't bring a crowd, you are not allowed to play there again. So I don't know if you didn't know that or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fairly confident we'll get some people.
Yeah, no, I just found it. I was like, oh shit. Okay, hopefully we. And then when we did, they're yeah, you guys can come back, and I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, it's a cool stage.
Oh, it's great. And then another thing is actually the jams on Thursday nights as well.
Yeah.
Go out there and show them what you got,
Yeah, I gotta hit one of those up, but yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Elise is amazing, and she puts on such an incredible performance, and honestly, since we've been posting about it, people seem to be really excited about it, which is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I who did the poster?
Me.
Canva.
Canva.
Yeah, a lot of people have switched over to Canva now.
Hey, it's great.
Everyone now is not their now in the world of music now and like self-employment or like completely independent artists. Everyone is like musician. Everyone is like their manager, the publicist, sometimes the sound guy.
Yeah.
Cough cough. Now their own graphic designer.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a doozy. So I actually had my brother look over the poster quite a bit because my brother has a bit of a background. Like he's a photographer and he's got a background in design as well. So yeah, like I thought it turned out pretty cool. Elise was really happy with it, and kind of it really matches the vibe of the show. It's going to be a rock show.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The Monty's poster video, we actually had a graphic designer make the poster, and then when we sent it off to Monty's, like the day of we arrived, talking with Nancy.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Who did the poster?" And I said, "Oh, Krista Fewer." Shout out Krista Fewer.
Absolutely.
And she goes, "Finally, someone with a good fucking poster." And I was like,
"Whoa,
whoa!" So then she actually came to the show because Casual Cries for Help hired her for photography.
Oh yeah.
So I told her that, and she's like, "Ha ha!" She starts laughing, right?
Yeah, Casual Cries for Help. They've been around for a minute.
2 minutes.
No, yeah. I remember I was playing with them back.
You were playing with them too.
Well, I wasn't in the band,
Oh.
but yeah, like I played shows with them.
Yeah, that was
Mics
pretty
and
wild.
stuff.
I had Folk Country Line, Casual Cries for Help, and then Jamming Through the Night headlining.
Right.
Now, if you know anything about Jamming Through the Night, that band should not be a fucking headliner. That is my own band. That band should not be a fucking headliner.
Oh, that's your band.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want because we have backing tracks.
Oh well, I mean that's a somewhat common occurrence for bands now. I think.
Yeah, but on the Monty stage.
Well.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. This is going to be our first time on the Monty stage. I'm excited about it though. It's gonna be good.
You got room to bounce around.
It's good because I'm all wireless now. So.
Get a wire. Yeah. Okay, that's another thing. If you are on a wireless unit.
Yeah.
If people are dancing, go into the fucking crowd.
Oh yeah, I don't. None of us will have a problem with that. I know Willie won't. Will's got a great stage presence. Elise has got a magnificent stage presence. So like, I really do think
I need to go wireless to actually show off my stage presence because my influence like on bass is Les Claypool.
Sure. Wow. That's a pretty tall order. That's a good player.
Like, I learned a shitload of Primus songs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So,
So you must be sick on bass. I've only ever seen you do, like, Beatles stuff, which is also not
Beatles.
not easy, though. Like, McCartney's a better bass player than people give him credit for. But.
Yes. In the later stage, the bass lines became saucier, but, like, a few of them. Anything before, I say Revolver, kind of, like, mid.
Fair.
But anything post-Revolver. Like, Paperback Writer, that bass line, I can't sing and play that at the same time.
I love Paperback Writer.
Like the bass line, and, like, he's singing and playing that. I can't do that. It's like, you had to practice that for a hot minute, because I can't. Singing with all these, like, chromatic approaches and all that stuff, I'm like, nah, I can't do that. No.
Apparently I think he played guitar on that, too. I think that's his riff. The Paperback Writer riff.
Yeah, I believe so, because in the documentary you see him play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, John did...
I thought you were about to do a John Lennon voice.
No.
John
did the bass 6 in the White Album.
Oh, really?
Which was the 6-string guitar tuned an octave down.
Huh.
Yeah. So, like, there's bass credits for John.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
During the documentary, Lee Sklar was hearing it. He's like, "That is not a bass. What is that?"
It's a bass guitar.
No, Paul just looked at him like, But it was John playing the bass 6 or whatever the fuck there's called. Again, it's just a 6-string guitar tuned an octave down.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they've been around forever, and is it some of the drumming credits goes to Paul.
Yeah, Paul's a really good drummer as well. Like,
did you listen to McCartney 3 when it came out years ago?
Yeah.
Fuck, it was a good album. I mean, he doesn't have his voice anymore, but it was a good... the opening song was fucking great.
Dude, Mac has got listen, man, he's a genius. Like, he's not like, I think the reason that they don't treat him in the same vein as John is because John kind of acted out there, where Mecca was always very kind of reserved, you know, like, oh, you know, like, I'm just gonna live in me farm with me wife and, you know, make music, you know. Like,
Bro is demure.
yeah, like, you know, he's very, but he's like, he's reserved. He's like, he's a gentleman, but like, there's no denying the musical talent in that man. Dude, he wrote Yesterday when he was like 21.
Bro wrote majority of the songs.
Yeah?
Yeah, as well in the Beatles. He wrote majority of the fucking songs.
He was a driving force, man. It's just one of my biggest influences for sure.
And when I heard that, he wrote majority of the songs, and then I really took the time to be like, okay, that's a Paul song, or oh, that's a John song.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a George song, or oh, yeah, that's a Ringo song, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember seeing him in the 80s do an interview where he's like, you know, when I die eventually, he's like, people are going to be like, you know, he wasn't that bad. And I'm like, dude, you were not that bad. You were the greatest.
Bro wrote Wonderful Christmas Time.
Goat.
Bro wrote Wonderful Christmas Time. You can't beat that.
He's the only guy whose rock and roll can still go, would you like a cup of tea? Like, you know, like, you know, the most rock and roll dude I've ever met. Like,
he's the richest rock star as well.
Oh yeah, by far. You ever see him like get arrested? Like, he got arrested for like weed in like, was it Japan or something? He was in Asia, I think.
Oh goodness. Oh, it was the 80s or some. It was the 80s for definite, but I forget where it was.
I think it might have been Japan, and he was like talking about it in an interview because apparently like it's a serious crime to like at least at that time to get caught with like weed there. And, like, he was just, like, watching this man who looks like the most, like, upper crust aristocrat man. Be like, you know, I spent a few days in jail, you know. Like, it's just, like, what?
Love that. I love that. Just the simplicity of it. Just like, oh, yeah, I spent a few days in jail. It's like...
Well, apparently he didn't know, like, they were going to give him a harsh sentence, too. Like, they didn't care that he was McCartney. Like, he was like, I didn't know if I was going to see my... kids like grow up like
that's pretty wild. It's a culture shock for definite.
Oh my gosh, I would say so, but yeah, that's how she is. Mm-hmm.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Not at all.
No caffeine either. No.
I'm past that. I've been drinking tea since I was 3 years old.
3?
Yeah.
You poor soul. No.
Yeah, that's Ireland for you, baby.
It's what?
Oh yeah. We all have been. You go to any kid in Ireland, man. They've been drinking tea from the time they could basically sit up straight.
I tried tea when I was 3. Actually, I tried it. Mom was like, "You want to try some of this?" And like this little mug, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." I tasted it. I was like, "This just tastes like flavored hot water." That's exactly what I said.
And the funny thing is, like, I drank tea my whole life. I don't remember the last time I had tea. Now.
Well, have some tea then.
No, I don't drink it anymore.
I can tolerate coffee if there's like cream and sugar in it.
Right.
I can't stand a bitter taste. That's why I can't even drink alcohol.
Oh, I love bitter coffee.
I can't. I spit it out as soon as I taste bitter.
Really? Oh
yeah.
Man, I love it.
So I have like 1 coffee a week.
Pretty sure my girlfriend probably thinks I'm crazy because she loves really sweet things. She loves the smell of coffee, but I think she tried like a mouthful of my coffee once, and she's like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yeah, like people who drink coffee black, it's like no.
And I do.
Yeah.
A black Americano. Mwah.
Yeah. Nasty.
Well, to each their own.
I can't. It's like as soon as the bitter touches my tongue, it's like, yeah, the vibe is ruined.
But funny enough, she'll eat like things that are so sweet though that I'm like, oh, like
there is also to a point there it's so sweet it becomes bitter. There is that. I've experienced that before.
Yeah.
Like rich tasting stuff. It's like, oof.
Yeah, you can't do lots of sugar.
It took me a while to tolerate dark chocolate actually.
Yeah, I don't mind too much. I don't mind dark chocolate all that much, but
no, I just can't with the bitter.
Yeah. No, we're not even talking about music anymore.
No,
we're all the way down to chocolate.
I'm talking about food.
Food. Let's get some food.
I'm not even hungry, bro. I had supper. I had so much time to kill. Why? Because you're like, oh yeah, I'm off work at 7:30. I was like, I'm gonna have a sandwich. And then I'm asleep.
You go to bed early then?
No.
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 What do you do for work? I never asked you that.
Oh, I'm a chemist.
Oh.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's the day job.
That's a good day job. Oh. Where are you a chemist at? Are you allowed to say?
In Dartmouth. It's in private sector.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's still cool.
Thanks.
Hey, you got a real job.
Yeah, it's the good old 9 to 5 grind.
Yeah, so that means you're back at it tomorrow.
Yep. Got the weekends off. That was great.
Oh, that's nice. I haven't had a weekend off in like 5 years.
I mean, I don't work on the weekends, but I work on the weekends, you know.
Yeah, you're on your young man grind.
I'm on my music grind.
If you can do
Gigs
it.
on the Saturdays, bro. Gigs on the Fridays, Saturdays, and the Sundays, bro. That's what it is. And then Monday to Friday. It's like evenings and weekends. Chemistry man goes away.
Chemistry man. That's
Chemistry man goes away.
a
Unless
good
someone
name of
asks
a
a
song.
chemistry question, then I'm like, all right, chemistry man is back. Hold on. Hold on. Let me get my glasses here.
So is that like undergrad, masters?
Just bachelor's.
Bachelor's.
Undergrad, yeah.
Sweet.
I
That's great.
couldn't stand research during the senior year. I couldn't
Yeah.
stand it, so I did not want to go through another 2 years of it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat right now.
Oh, no.
I'm writing a thesis, so it's
Gross.
yeah.
My guitarist actually has started his PhD for clinical psychology.
It's a hard gig to get into.
Yeah, he couldn't even do a master's in psychology. He had to settle with psychiatry.
Yep,
Hated every second of it.
that makes sense to me. I understand.
For me, it's just like I can't stand psychology.
I love psychology. It's just it's so competitive. The
It's a
industry
big old
is,
piss race.
yeah, it's not a lot of seats available, overpopulated at the lower levels kind of thing, and you basically have to almost be perfect to seemingly get into some kind of master's program. I know.
Well, that's chemistry as well.
Yeah.
Even during the courses, like during the undergrad programs themselves, like like the starting is like so crammed, and then as the classes progress, you go, okay, these are the people that just needed the credits for the degrees. Okay, these are the minors. Okay, these are the majors.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to the end of it. I think my senior chemistry class had like 13 people in it.
Yeah. See, I had the opposite of that. My psychology honors seminar had like probably 60.
Gross. I haven't had a class that had 60 people in university.
Well,
Shout out to the Mount.
Well, again, psychology though it's very popular, but I eventually like to get my master's, but right now I'm just focusing on trying to finish off the undergrad, get this thing underway, and do some music.
Are you doing research in your senior year?
Yeah, I'm writing my thesis.
Gross.
I'm actually doing my. I had just about to submit my survey to. So I can't really say too much about it.
Oh, obviously not. No,
yeah.
I can't state what I did research in my senior year.
Yeah.
Like I understand,
Yeah,
It's like if you told me, you got to kill me,
yeah, exactly. So, it's but yeah, it'll be nice to at least get that done because I've been working on that for like the last 4 or 5 months, I think. Yeah.
How many years do you have left then? Is this
This is my last. Yeah, I'll be done in April.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm looking forward to being done for sure.
And as soon as it's done, you're just gonna feel like you're like, man, I can stand up straight again.
Yeah, like honestly, I kind of miss working like full time. Like I like to feel like I'm getting up and contributing to society.
It's always good to be a member of society.
Like I'm not saying students don't, because we obviously do, but like I like to, I'm a very hands-on person. That's why I work in healthcare. That's what I like to do. Not behind a screen researching data.
Yeah, that was never fun. For me, it was just constantly searching for literature. That was not fun.
Yeah. You become an expert in it though.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about
Unfortunately.
chemistry, you had to do every class to be considered a chemist. You had to do every course.
Oof.
Yep. Everything.
Well, you did it. You're
Yeah.
a chemist.
Woo. Been a chemist for 3.5 years.
Going strong.
Yes, sir. I would like to go back, though, and get a Bachelor of Education, though.
That's an idea.
Teach these young motherfuckers what's good.
I thought about going. That's actually really the original reason I went to go back was to do to get my bachelor's and then my bachelor's in education. But
To teach these motherfuckers what's good.
to teach the young people valuable life lessons.
Yeah.
But psychology kind of took me, so that's where I went.
Fair enough. I just like the, I don't know, I've just been gravitated towards it since grade 8. And I wasn't even taught it till grade 9.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yo, that looks pretty cool. I want to learn it. And they said, well, you gotta wait. You learn it in grade 9. I go,
So you did well in chemistry in school then?
Sure.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, sure.
Modest man. Modest Mike over here. Modest Michael.
It was, I will say, there was classes that were hard, and I was like, oh, wow, I have to pull up my socks. Like that, I will say. And then there's a few that were just like, I've seen this years ago. I still have notes on this, so this class is going to be easier than others.
Right.
But there was some that I was like, man, what the fuck is this? What is this? Is this even chemistry anymore? Like what? Like there was a few of those days.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I won't even. Quantum mechanics,
Well, yeah, I don't know what that means.
spicy physics. Yeah.
Physics you have to pay for?
You have to pay for every class.
It's making a joke.
But no, that one was actually like that one hurt my brain. That one hurt the brains of everybody in the class.
Fair.
And then we got out of it and we were like, fuck, dude. We're like, well, we don't got to do that again. Except the physics minors.
Got it.
But no, I mean, I did enjoy it. Like anywhere you go, you make friends with anybody. It was a great experience. I still remember a fair bit. If I apply for a teaching degree, I'm gonna have to read my textbooks again, because there's definitely things I do not remember.
Absolutely.
And it irks me because it's like, but I guarantee you, as soon as I see it, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's it's a whole other process, but we should probably.
That is my mother again. I think I should go turn my car off.
Yeah, I think we should
I'll
probably.
go give it a test run and fill it with gas.
That's a good idea,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's about 11 o'clock, so we should probably
Yeah.
wrap her up by now.
Oh my goodness, this is probably the longest episode I've had so far.
It's
Goddamn.
almost 3 hours.
After a 2-week break, back at it. Fucking swinging, being nerds and being silly.
That's right.
Pearse Sweeney.
The jazz enthusiasts.
Now I gotta take.
No, thanks for having me on, Mike. I
Thank
really
you
appreciate
for
it.
wanting to do this. Thank you for saying
Yeah.
yes. I gotta do this
Thank
one
you.
thing though,
Sure.
and I do this with all the people. You just gotta stay there.
Oh,
You ready? Which camera? is it?
wait. I gotta get my model face on.
All right, ready? All right. It's a McDonald's disposable camera, so don't
Love
be. You ready for this? You ready to see this photo?
Love it.
Come here.
That's his delete photo.
Oh, what? Oh, what's daisies?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good old McDonald's disposable camera.
Love it.
Oh man, this has been episode 20 of the Bedroom Studios official podcast. Coming back swinging after a 2-week break, i.e., nobody wanting to come to the studio. I don't blame them. Everyone's in Halifax. I'm in Sackville. Tune in for next week where we get. I don't know. I gotta find somebody.